system. From Iron Man, the counteroffensive begins. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 351. Why? Yes, why did they want to kill the Dragon Emperor? Not to mention Rowan was curious, Rick and Evelyn were also very curious. Why did the strange girl that Alex was protecting want to kill the Dragon Emperor? The Dragon Emperor was an emperor from 2000 years ago, and he was also a mummy that came back to life. Evelyn knew all this, but what did it have to do with this girl named Lynn? For centuries, my family has been guarding the tomb of the Dragon Emperor, and we only use this. Wow. Choke. The short blade that Lynn had been carrying on her waist was cold and full of cold light. She pulled it out of the scabbard. The black handle was sharp on both sides, and there was a golden blood groove in the middle, which just spurted out from the golden dragon head handle. What an extraordinary magic weapon. My mother cast a spell on this dragon blade a long time ago. Only by piercing the heart of the Dragon Emperor with it can you really kill him. Oh, it's called the Dragon Blade, and it was also cursed by Lynn's mother. And only by piercing the heart of the Dragon Emperor with this weapon can you successfully kill him. Really? Your mother cast a spell, and the Dragon Emperor has been sleeping underground for thousands of years. Alex also dug him out of the ground, but you didn't think of doing it until today. Are you hesitant because you can't bear to part with this foreign guy? Yeah, Luo Wen's words were like a heavy hammer hitting the girl's heart, and it could even be said that it was like the sound of a panic bell, which made her brain so agitated that she didn't know how to defend or explain. I'm asking you why you want to kill the Dragon Emperor. What does what you said have to do with my question? I said I want to stop the Dragon Emperor from resurrecting. With his brutality and ambition, Middle-earth will be devastated and fall into an irreparable situation. Why can't I kill him? Lynn, who was forced into a corner, began to defend herself. Her pale face also showed a sickly red in shame. Maybe it was the first time in her long life that someone dared to question her like this. However, she didn't know the details of the person who came. She always felt that, as long as she took action, she would be killed, and she would not even have the chance to resist. She was even more anxious and helpless. Hey, did you hear that? The Dragon Emperor is a brutal monarch. In order to protect the peace of the world, we must do our best to stop his next move. Alex stood up again and spoke righteously and sternly, full of bright and great righteousness. The peace of this world. May I ask if Middle-earth is peaceful now? The Dragon Emperor is a tyrant. How did you know that? Did she, Lynn, tell you in person? You are blinded by a single leaf. How hypocritical. Lynn, why don't you ask your mother why she wants you to assassinate the Dragon Emperor? What? Rustling, as if she was stripped naked from head to toe, Lynn couldn't stop trembling all over. Luo Wen's words were like exorcism chants, and more like a just trial of her. These uneasy and uncomfortable feelings. Let's put them aside for now. The key point is, how did Luo Wen know her mother? Is he just guessing, or does he really know the secret? Lynn, what is Luo talking about? Can you tell us the real reason? Luo Wen felt that there was no need to continue asking. Swish, my question has been answered. You can take care of yourself. By the way, Mrs. Evelyn and Mr. Rick, I have no ill will towards you. This matter is not something you can participate in and change the outcome. I advise you to go back to your own country while there is still time and be an ordinary person in peace. He stood up and walked out the door, but suddenly stopped, said a strange sentence, and then left gracefully. He came suddenly and left suddenly. The handsome and extraordinary Luo Wen just left like that. In the Himalayas, there is a mysterious temple built between the mountain passes. It is not so accurate to call it a temple. It should be called a temple, because there is not only the style of Tibetan Buddhism here, but also traces of Tantra, pyramids, and Taoism can be found in this temple. This is the next stop that the Okana family and the Dragon Emperor want to go to, because the golden tower here is a special device that places the god's eye to point to the direction of Shangri-La. in the mysterious Shangri-La, this magical place that has not been set foot by mortals. In addition to various beautiful legends, the most important point is that there is the eternal fountain that can make people immortal. Hey, ha, stab, stab. Between the hot Lois ridges, General Yang took the Dragon Emperor back to his base camp smoothly. Here, in addition to thousands of elite modern troops, there are also high-tech equipment such as howitzers, tanks, and propeller fighters. It seems that General Yang, who can set up such a large foundation on the Middle-earth land, where warlords are fighting, can become the villain in the plot. It really has some personal means. Your Majesty, welcome to the 20th century. The cave, which is warm in winter and cool in summer, was probably built as an air raid shelter to avoid being bombed from high altitudes. There were several incandescent lamps inside to provide lighting. As for the source of electricity, it was naturally a diesel generator in another machine room. General Yang stood respectfully at the bottom. In front of him, there was a clay figurine, twisting its stiff head and looking at a scaled-down military map. Why are you calling me? Your Majesty, we need you to lead us to revive the prestige of Middle-earth and drive out foreign enemies. Oh, what do you want? Your Majesty, be a real general, and serve my lord. Wow, snap, snap. Hearing what General Yang said, the Dragon Emperor suddenly lost his temper. Even the clay figurine shell on his face fell off one after another. It seemed that the word general was a word that was difficult for the Dragon Emperor to let go. Do you know that the last general betrayed me? Your Majesty, don't worry, I will never make such a mistake again. Whoosh, bang, bang. The weight of the clay figurine is obviously not light. Every step the Dragon Emperor takes makes a thudding sound. Okay, then I will believe you this time, but this clay figurine is powerless to wake up the army. General. Snap, stand at attention and stamp your feet. I understand. Your Majesty, please rest assured. I have found the secret of your Majesty's longevity. This thing can even show you the way to longevity. General Yang was holding a brilliant blue diamond in his hand. This Eye of Shangri-La was the key to activate the golden tower of the temple. Haha, but the general really lived up to my expectations. In the vast blue sky, Luo Wen, who was hiding, was quietly looking at the military camp below. As for how he found the Dragon Emperor hiding here from the Magic City, the Divine Mind Mark was just a simple method of using divine consciousness. Besides, Luo Wen was so fast, and his divine consciousness covered a radius of 20 kilometers. Even if he went to find the Okana family first, it would be easy for him to catch up with the Dragon Emperor. Chapter 352 Snow Mountain Golden Pagoda. Buzz the propellers were spinning crazily, carrying the Okana family and Lin. Flying fast in the sky, the twin-engine transport plane could carry several tons of supplies at a time, and could also seat a squad of soldiers. Move for example, at this time, in addition to a few human passengers who were shaking with the shaking of the fuselage, there were also many weapons and ammunition, a yak and many daily necessities. Compared with the Okana family who had Lin leading the way, the Dragon Emperor here set off a little late, or in other words, they returned to the base camp first, and had the Eye of Shangri-La in hand. They went first, and then went later, and the initiative was on their side. They were more fully prepared, and perhaps there were fewer unnecessary emergencies. After all, the temples were all between the snow-capped mountains on the plateau, where there were few people and no supplies. It would never be wrong to prepare what should be prepared. As for how Lin persuaded the Okana family to accompany her to the snow-capped mountains and decided to stop the Dragon Emperor from looking for Shangri-La together. Perhaps Rowan's words were too hard to believe, or perhaps Alex, who was blinded by love, couldn't bear to see the girl he loved fight the evil mummy alone, or perhaps they felt guilty and thought that, since they dug the Dragon Emperor out of the ground, they should destroy the Dragon Emperor again, seal him, or do anything, as long as they could stop the Dragon Emperor. Whoosh, the cold wind in the mountains was like a wind blade and ice knife, making those ordinary people who were wearing winter clothes and wrapped like a big dumpling have cold hands and feet, and their exhaled breath turned directly into white mist in the air, and then suddenly fell to the ground. Alas, the plot inertia is unstoppable. Are the Okana family here after all? The Dragon Emperor and his party whose transport plane was parked at the foot of the mountain, were crossing mountains and ridges, gradually approaching the temple hidden in the mountain pass, and along the shaky suspension bridge. Brown walked step by step into the temple where the Okana family was setting up defenses, setting up firepower points and bombs. The thick snow was half a meter thick, and below it was frozen snow water. Of course, in the white snowy mountains, it might not be what the human eye sees. Everything is flat and harmless. There might be cracks in the ice or loose rocks below. If one is not careful, he will fall into the mountains. The abyss is enough to smash the flesh and blood into pieces. But where Aon walked, except for the footprints left by the Okana family, there was no trace at all. He neither stepped on the footsteps they had confirmed to be safe, nor did he choose his own foothold again. Instead, he walked on the snow without leaving any traces, 1 centimeter above the snowflakes. Wish the magnificence of the natural landscape and the perseverance of the temple builders. Brown had already experienced it personally. The moment he stepped into the gate of the temple, his body was once again activated by the invisibility technique. He quietly walked behind the busy people and came to the golden tower in the center of the courtyard. Here, Lin, whose fair cheeks were red from the cold, was helping Evelyn place the bomb. Lin, can you pass me the green fuse? Oh, okay, ma'am. Are you sure this time? Lin not only had a young face, but also behaved like a girl who had not experienced much of the world. Of course, it was also possible that she grew up in Shangri-La and had no contact with outsiders, so she really didn't have much social experience. Of course, I've done it no less than 100 times. Haha. Evelyn, who looked confident, was a little confused about Lin, but seeing this cute and simple girl, she couldn't bear to suspect that she had any ulterior motives. Besides, since Lin had won the heart of Alex, she, as a mother, was naturally happy to see it happen, and should promote this matter well. Madam, if the Dragon Emperor puts the divine eye on the golden pagoda, then everything will be over. We must stop him this time. Ha, Luo Wen wanted to laugh. You all arrived early, and the golden pagoda is here. Although we don't have the divine eye as the key, we can destroy the base of the golden pagoda, or change the structure of the device. The Dragon Emperor has the divine eye, so what can he do? He doesn't have the design drawings of the golden pagoda. Once there is an error in the accuracy, the positioning direction will be far from the slightest. Oh, I almost forgot. They are all ordinary people, and this golden pagoda is so solid. Unless they use bombs to blow it up directly, otherwise time is tight. There is an avalanche, and there is a powerful enemy at the moment. It seems that they really have no choice but to face it head on. Creak, creak, quick, quick, quick. General, clear the obstacles quickly. I look forward to your performance. Yes, prepare the rocket launcher. The Dragon Emperor stood quietly on the rock platform on the suspension bridge side with the God's Eye in his hand, and General Yang had already waved his hand and asked his men to carry rocket launchers and boxes of rockets on their backs, and to form a formation on the ridge on the suspension bridge side. Time is tight and the task is heavy. Although the Dragon Emperor has the initiative, he dare not say that he is not in a hurry at all. After all, the Golden Tower will not move there. If it is destroyed, it will be impossible to locate the location of the Shangri-La secret realm in a short time with the God's Eye. When they came to the suspension bridge in the mountains, they still found that they were a step late. There was nothing to say now, so they had to start fighting. First, they launched a round of fire suppression on the opponent, and then broke through the torn outer defense line until they controlled the Golden Tower in the center. Report to the general. Everything is ready. Very good. Listen to my orders. Pay attention to the firing angle. Just blow up the outer entrance to facilitate our advance. Fire. Da-da-da. A burst of machine gun fire sounded, not from General Yang's men, but from the Okana father and son on the other side of the suspension bridge. A rocket launcher who just stuck his head out to aim. Poof. R was shot through the internal organs by the bullet, and fell into the cliff with a scream. Bang, 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 snap, snap. Long guns and short guns, various models, and different calibers made in foreign countries, at this time, were madly firing at each other on both sides of the cliff less than 30 meters apart. The Okana family only had 3 firepower points, and General Yang's men had a full platoon, and they quickly formed fire suppression. Fire, fire. Boom! Without General Yang's repeated orders, the rocket launchers picked up the rocket launchers and pulled the triggers in their hands. Swish. Oh, no, no, rocket launcher, hide, hide. Boom. Bang! A loud noise directly suppressed Rick's warning in his chest, and the thick stone pillars of the temple began to collapse. Swish. Bang! 1, 2, 3. But in a moment, the Okana family not only took the initiative to shoot and killed one of General Yang's men, but now they were like little mice running for their heads, rolling and crawling into the deeper part of the temple. Fire cover, follow me. The other side had been beaten and fled, and General Yang on this side also took the lead, holding Browning and rushing to the other side of the suspension bridge. The suspension bridge is the only way to both sides. During the battle between the two sides, they seemed to avoid this direction on purpose. The Okana family was going to retreat after the war, while General Yang was naturally going to attack along the suspension bridge. Although the purposes were different, the results were the same. No, they are all rushing over, but their firepower is too strong. We must kill their rocket launchers first. Let them come first, otherwise the rocket launchers will keep pointing at us. Good idea, Dad. Rick, who was experienced in combat, quickly analyzed the pros and cons of both sides, and this proposal was readily accepted by Alex. Chapter 353 Snow Monster. Yeti, Soat, come quickly. Yeti, Soat, come quickly. A strange shouting sounded. At this time, General Yang had led his troops to the temple's courtyard. The Okana family and Lin were suppressed to the back of the temple with their backs against the top of the mountain. Suddenly, the beautiful girl came out from the hidden pagoda and shouted at the snowy mountain top, where the snowflakes were flying aimlessly, as if she was asking for help from some mysterious creature. Wow, Lin actually knows the long-lost Yeti language. Is the legend of the Himalayan snowman true? Evelyn, who was suppressed by the bullet net and couldn't raise her head, was hiding behind a fallen wall of the temple with Rick. Under their unbelievable and expectant gazes, raw bang, bang, a humanoid creature covered with white hair and nearly 3 meters tall rushed down from the top of the mountain, as if responding to Len's call. Himalayan snowman. No, a more accurate term should be snow monster, because in addition to their human-like appearance of walking upright and having hands and feet, they also have short flat noses, blue animal eyes, and a mouth full of sharp canine teeth. They look like snow monsters, rather than snowmen. Hoo Yeti, I need your help please. Those soldiers are devils. They are here to destroy the snow mountain. Although the Yeti language spoken by Lin was a little strange, Luo Wen could still understand it without any obstacles. As for her description of the soldiers being devils and destroying the snow monsters' homes, Luo Wen was somewhat non-committal, smiling without saying anything and quietly watching the various performances of both sides. However, those strong and agile snow monsters seemed to have heard Len's words, roaring continuously, and then directly pounced into the crowd of soldiers controlling the temple courtyard. Ah, monsters, there are monsters. Wow, we have helpers, we have snowman helpers, haha. The sturdy snow monsters have thick fur to block the wind and cold in the snowy mountain environment. The wide and thick soles have good grip, allowing them to walk on the mountain, as if on flat ground. With a jump, they can easily reach a height of the same height. Like humans, their palms can grab objects. Even in this environment, they are the darlings of heaven and earth, extremely fast and extremely mobile. Quick, shoot, kill these monsters. Da bang, bang, bang. General Yang's rocket launcher team has been written off. They were lured into the depths by the Okana family and then wiped out outside the gate of the temple. They finally rushed into the temple, and the last step was to approach their hiding bunkers to surround and eliminate them. Now suddenly 3 snow mountain monsters with white hair are out, which really made people shocked and angry, so uncomfortable. Ayo, roar, whoosh, bang. The soldiers were frightened by the size of these snow monsters, and wanted to retreat to the other side of the suspension bridge. There were too many shelters and obstacles in the temple. They were not opponents of the snow monsters flying over the eaves and walls, just by looking at their size. Now with guns, it was even harder for the soldiers to aim. Or whoosh, snap, ah. The snow monsters were running around in the temple shelters like ghosts. Without heavy weapons, and without setting up machine gun fire points, General Yang was overturned by the opponent in an instant. All the soldiers who broke into the temple screamed in just 1 or 2 minutes. They were either thrown off the cliff by the snow monsters, or hammered into the stone wall and stone tower by their strong arms as thick as thighs, and their brains burst and died. Damn it, hold on. Bang, bang, bang. General Yang shouted crazily, and fired his gun. He had already emptied several magazines of a Browning pistol, but it was a pity that the lethality was basically zero, and it couldn't even penetrate the snow monster's skin. Jonathan, hurry up, detonate the explosives and blow up the golden tower, hurry up. Jonathan, the coward who had been slacking off since the beginning of the war, was caught by Rick at this time. He had no choice but to be in front of everyone, and they had the upper hand. He gritted his teeth, rolled and crawled, and rushed out with a kerosene lighter. Waste, all waste. Ha, dong dong, dong dong. The Dragon Emperor stood on the opposite side of the ridge, and couldn't bear to watch it anymore. He was furious, and walked towards the suspension bridge with grim steps. Wow, puff, yeah, I'll hit it, no, it's going to explode, everyone run. The Okana family gathered together, holding their guns, and preparing to retreat towards the suspension bridge, but a memorable muddy hand lifted the curtain and strode in. Shit, it's the Dragon Emperor. The Dragon Emperor is coming in. Shoot, blow him up. Da-da-da, bang, bang. Without saying much, Rick and Alex picked up the Thompson submachine guns and Remington shotguns in their hands, and kept shooting at the Dragon Emperor. Snap, 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 snap. Wow, die, all of you, die, damned untouchables. The clay figurine shell on his body was smashed into pieces, and the shrunken body of the Dragon Emperor was revealed. Unlike the Magic City Museum late at night that day, this time the view was clear, and it was still broad daylight with white snow. The bald head was covered with crisscrossing scars and bone fractures. The wrinkled and damaged rotten flesh made people feel extremely uncomfortable, and they almost vomited out the overpass gastric juice. Bang bang. Raw. The snow monster had cleaned up all the soldiers at this time, and stood beside the Okana family, roaring at the monster in front of them that was uglier than them. Hiss. Deadly sound waves, mixed with the howling of ghosts and wolves, a visible wave of air ripples, were stimulated from the mouth of the Dragon Emperor, rustling. Oh no, Aurora Okana and his party had already collapsed to the ground, covering their ears, and lost the ability to continue to attack. The snow monsters were even more frightened by the terrifying Dragon Emperor's lion roar. Boom, boom, water. The hissing green fuse was frozen into a block of ice by the water element released by the Dragon Emperor. Moreover, with the golden pagoda as the center point, wolf-fang intertwined ice spikes rose densely from the ground. The Dragon Emperor was obviously acting much more cautiously. In order to prevent any more accidents, he set up defensive ice spikes in advance, and then climbed up the golden pagoda mountain with peace of mind. Click. He took out the Eye of Shangri-La from his arms, and placed it on the top of the golden tower. Whoosh, ding. A dazzling light gathered the sunlight in the air, then refracted between the peaks, pointing to the hiding place of Shangri-La in the distance. The wind and snow seemed to have calmed down at this time, and the clouds in the sky slowly dispersed. Things were irreversible. The Okana family, who had finally climbed up from the ground, could only accept the fact of failure in the corner helplessly. No. Choked. Although Lynn had a petite and weak appearance, her physical fitness was probably the best among their group. Everyone was still panting on the ground waiting for their physical strength to recover, but she drew out the dragon blade and ran to the second floor platform of the temple, wanting to complete the final feat of assassinating the Dragon Emperor from behind. And Alex, the young man, jumped out openly with a cluster detonator bomb in his hand. He used the cloth strip on it to continuously spin and accelerate. Click, click, the time detonator on it also jumped one by one. Was he trying to attract Lynn's attention, or was he really planning to detonate the snow-capped peak on the back mountain and let everyone die in the avalanche? Chapter 354, The Road to Eternal Life. It's not just the Okana family that has modern hot weapons, but Lynn also has a dragon blade in her hand. The Dragon Emperor, whose majesty has been challenged again and again, drew out the bronze sword from his waist with a swish, and stabbed Alex with a swing of his hand. I don't know what kind of refining process was used, or whether it used a special metal formula. After thousands of years, its blade is still shining and exudes a charming green light. The sword spine is a straight golden line with dragon scales engraved on it, which looks so extraordinary. Puff, whoosh, Alex was thrown to the ground, and the cluster bomb in his hand was thrown to the hillside of the back mountain. Bang no, dat. Whoosh. The Dragon Emperor's sword was not only breathtaking in its material and shape, but also seemed to be blessed with a mysterious power. It was pulled directly from Rick's back, and then called back into the hands of the Dragon Emperor. No matter how much a father preaches to his son, the love in his heart will not diminish, just like Rick who saved his life at the critical moment. There is no fluctuation of spiritual power, but it can achieve the same effect as a spell. The elemental power here is not those colorful little spots of light, right? Luo Wen hid his body and stood quietly in the corner. The stray bullets directed at him were naturally changed by telekinesis and shot to other directions. Spiritual power is invisible and colorless, which means that Luo Wen practiced the Maotian Zhengfa, so the external manifestation of spiritual power showed a golden effect. Unexpectedly, the energy system of this world is different. The spiritual power between heaven and earth is replaced by a colorful elemental force. No wonder it is said that energy affinity has begun to work again in this world, making Luo Wen feel like a fish in water. Crack, crack, boom. The mountain collapsed, and the snow-capped peak on the top of the mountain broke directly into two halves. The temple located at the high mountain pass was the first to bear the brunt. If everyone wants to turn around and escape, it will be impossible. Like a huge wave bursting through a dam, or 1,000 horses galloping, the avalanche was accelerating, with tens of thousands of tons and hundreds of thousands of tons of weight pressing down. Not to mention ordinary people. Even the Dragon Emperor was horrified. He didn't want to be frozen here again. He had just woken up from underground and waited for 2,000 years to reign over the world. It was impossible for him to wait any longer, right? No, the Dragon Emperor raised his hands to his chest, blocking the way ahead, and suddenly a huge black shadow appeared on the ground. It seemed that in front of the surging avalanche, an invisible giant or barrier was slowly taking shape, blocking the entrance to the temple. Wow, crack, crack. The Dragon Emperor was no longer able to maintain his clay figurine shell, revealing his entire shriveled body, as if all the strength in his body was gathered here to stop the avalanche. Swoosh. Lin, who was crying coquettishly, didn't care about the injuries of others, nor did she care about the devastating snowstorm that was right in front of her. She jumped up from the second floor platform and took advantage of the Dragon Emperor's inability to pay attention at this time, vowing to kill him with the dragon blade. Damn it. Whoosh. The Dragon Emperor was undoubtedly more afraid of the dragon blade than the avalanche. If he continued to sleep in the ice, he would at least have a chance to revive. If the dragon blade pierced his heart, he would not even have a chance to revive. How important is it? The Dragon Emperor knew how to choose. The black barrier disappeared instantly, and the Dragon Emperor also gathered the power of the five element into an invisible energy similar to telekinesis at the moment of danger. He grabbed Lin, who was flying towards him, and threw her aside. Without caring about making another slash, the Dragon Emperor turned around again and continued to try to build a barrier at the mountain pass. It seems that this elemental power is fundamentally different from Luo Wen's invisible telekinesis. At least when he casts spells, telekinesis can still be operated freely, just like his second soul skill. Boom. Unfortunately, the avalanche is unstoppable, and the opportunity is only once, and it is fleeting. The large area of snow that was about to be reshaped and stayed at the temple pass came with a rumble. No. Dust to dust, earth to earth. The cliffs under the suspension bridge were filled to half the height, and the traces of the temple were also white at this time, and no traces could be seen. Luo Wen flew to a high altitude early, watching everyone below being covered by ice and snow. The suspension bridge was destroyed. General Yang and Emperor Long were washed into the cliff, while the Okana family was luckier. With the protection of the snow monster, each of them was safe and sound, and did not die here. Wow. Haha, I'm still alive. I'm still alive. Haha. Jonathan, who was pulled out of the snow by the snow monster, was cheering from the bottom of his heart, not only for his own survival, but also because he was holding the Eye of Shangri-La that was washed to him by the ice and snow. Bang, bang. Rick, Alex, where are you? 2 holes appeared on the snow after 2 consecutive sounds. Evelyn, who was covered in snow, didn't care about the cold and pain on her body. She was looking around, looking for her husband and children. Lynn, who was still afraid, was also confirming the whereabouts of the Dragon Emperor at this time. The last impression she had was that he seemed to be hit by the ice and snow and fell under the cliff. Fortunately, although the Dragon Emperor was not directly destroyed, it was also a very fortunate thing to seal him again. I just hope that the ice and snow will not melt so quickly and he will never be unsealed and escape. Oh, no, Dad, you have to hold on. Come and help us. We are here. Mom, Dad and I are here. Come and help us. Alex, who had always behaved very maturely outside and thought he had surpassed his father, was now full of tears. He kept calling his father's name in the deep snow, and then like a helpless child, he asked for help from his mother and others. Ahem, Alex, all the dangers are over, aren't they? I will always love you, just like your mother. Rick, who was barely breathing, was pierced through the back by the Dragon Emperor's sword. Although the weapon was too sharp, coupled with the freezing effect of the low temperature ice and snow, not much blood flowed out of his body, but such a penetrating wound was obviously fatal. He is now seriously injured and dying. It is estimated that it will not take long before he can see God. Oh, God, Rick, no, 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 Lynn, if the legend is true, we must take him to Shangri-La immediately. Is this our last chance? Evelyn, who looked sad and anxious, did not forget to turn her brain even at this time, thinking of ways to keep her husband alive, such as Shangri-La where there is the eternal fountain. Well, I know, Yeti, Sot, come and help. The Himalayas stretch for thousands of kilometers. This is a biological restricted area, and it is also an icy place with beautiful and solemn scenery. As the roof of the world, it blocks the climate exchange and road traffic on both sides of the mountain range. For thousands of years, human exploration here has been limited to a very small part of the periphery. Even in the 20th century when science and technology developed rapidly, there are still endless speculations about the exploration of the Himalayas, and very little is known. Surrounded by layers of mountains, blocked by thousands of peaks, a green valley with birds singing and flowers blooming, warm as spring, is like a paradise on earth. It not only has a warm climate like spring all year round, but also has a wide variety of creatures and plants. Clear springs nourish everything in the valley. Even the snow monsters' homes are actually at the entrance of the valley. Otherwise, with their size, what can they eat to grow so big in the vast snow-capped mountains? And here is a real Shangri-La secret realm in various legends. Along the path on the cliffs, there are some caves opened by snow monsters. Lynn is leading the Okana family to the secret place that the Dragon Emperor has been thinking about. It is because of her leadership and the help of the snow monster Yeti that ordinary people from the outside world, even if they know where the temple is, will not be able to successfully embark on the snowy mountain trail to find Shangri-La. Chapter 355 Zion. Whoosh whoosh, the whistling mountain wind was enough to penetrate the body wrapped in several layers of winter clothes, making people tremble all over. In addition to wrapping their clothes and gloves tightly and keeping their heads down to keep moving forward, they had to be very careful when looking up, otherwise their noses, eyes, and mouths might be frozen directly in the air. Lynn, how far is it? We have been walking for several hours. Jonathan, who was shivering, was completely relying on the diamond in his arms to support himself. He only thought that, after returning to the civilized world, he would definitely become rich overnight, with countless beauties, banknotes, cigars, and fine wine. A nameless flame emerged in his heart, and he could continue to move his body, as if he had lost consciousness, and continue to move forward. Raw two strong Yetis carried a simple stretcher, on which lay Rick, whose face was livid, and whose breathing was barely audible. Compared to the others who relied on their whole body strength to walk, Rick's body temperature was rapidly decreasing. The bleeding caused by the penetrating wound was now insignificant, because it could not flow out at all. In Rick's body, the blood was almost coagulated, so how could it rush out along the stiff wound? It's almost there. The cave in front is our destination. What? The mountain we agreed on at the beginning. Now it seems that we have finally reached it. Compared to the cold mountain trail, as soon as they entered the cave, everyone felt a burst of warmth. and those yetis gently put down the stretcher and luggage and turned to another cave. Obviously, the warm environment here is not what they like. The coldness and stiffness on the bodies of several people were dissipating at a very fast speed. The further they went inside, the more so. Alex and Jonathan carried the stretcher and their steps became faster. Evelyn, who was stroking Rick's cheek, had tears in her eyes. Ta-ta, ta-ta. After walking through the deep passage, the eyes suddenly brightened, and a huge cave space appeared in front of the group. Moreover, there were not only stone pavilions, sleeping Buddha statues, and candles, but also human figures wearing robes next to the stone pavilion, silently looking at the larger space inside the cave. In the stone pavilion, there was a pool of water with flowing light. The spring water inside seemed to be fresh, flowing slowly along a gap to the low-lying area, and then merged into another clear and transparent mountain spring water flow. Boom. The rumbling sound of water and the water vapor floating from the inside of the cave moisturized people's skin and seemed to have an extra magical effect, slowly restoring people's physical strength, and the frostbite and other scars on the body are slowly itching and healing. It's the fountain of eternal life. That pool must be the fountain of eternal life. Alex, who was shouting, put down the stretcher and rushed forward while shouting. It didn't matter whether he wanted to take a sip of the fountain of eternal life himself or wanted to give his father Rick a sip, because to the robed figure inside, this alien boy who suddenly broke in was the enemy of the treasure, and what she had to do was to kill this alien who discovered Shangri-La and might even bring more greedy people. Swish. Choke. A sword whistled. The mysterious figure in the gorgeous robe also revealed her true face. A woman in ancient costume with a bun. Elegant and graceful, although she was nearly middle-aged, but from her eyebrows, you can still vaguely see the traces of her youthful beauty. Hissa. Alex didn't expect that the woman in palace dress would raise her sword to kill him without saying a word when she saw him for the first time. The key is that her body is agile, just like the martial arts master in the Legend of Middle-earth. The speed is so fast and the murderosaur is so heavy that he can't explain or have any other reaction. Stunned, as if falling into the abyss, Alex can even clearly see a yellow sword edge, less than 20 centimeters away from his brow bone. It's over. I'm going to die. Ding, sparks flew, metal and iron collided, a short blade that was only half the width of the bronze sword was inserted diagonally from the left to block the sword's front. Woo, mother. Little darling, you are finally back. Mother was worried to death. The mother and daughter were reunited, extremely happy. Both of them were in tears, hugged each other tightly, and looked each other up and down, as if no one was around. It seemed that they had not seen each other for several months. They were afraid that something was wrong with each other. Please, Kiu, my father. The poor Chinese was not spoken smoothly. Although Alex wanted to give the mother and daughter a private space for communication, he held his golden hair tightly. His father's life and death were uncertain, and he might die at any time. He had to break the joyful atmosphere of the mother and daughter, and made a request out loud. Oh, mother, his father is seriously injured and needs treatment. Yes, please. Evelyn's Chinese is also half-baked, not much different from Alex's. Fortunately, Evelyn has a thorough understanding of ancient and modern Chinese, and explained to her mother. The fountain of eternal life is like a bright starry sky. It is unknown what mysterious substance is in it, so it is sparkling and particularly eye-catching. This is also the reason why Alex felt that the pool under the pavilion must be the fountain of eternal life. As soon as he entered the cave, Rick, who was carried to the edge of the spring, was now as white as paper, unlike everyone else, whose face had regained its rosy color. Puff, Lynn's mother, Zion, took the bronze sword in her hand and cut Rick's clothes directly. She also held a small white jade bottle in her hand. The pattern on it was simple and beautiful. It was obvious that it was not an ordinary civilian item. She silently chanted an unknown spell and then poured the bottle body, dripping a drop of sparkling eternal spring water onto Rick's wound. Snap, a miracle happened. The granulation tissue surged, the wound disappeared into thin air, and not even a scar was left. Hiss up, oh, Rick, are you okay? Rick, who was panting rapidly, opened his eyes slightly as his wound healed, not to mention that his entire complexion quickly became normal. Evelyn's frightened heart was finally put back to its original place at this moment. Oh, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. He needs to rest. Take him to my room. It turns out that Xian, like her daughter Lin, can also speak their language. As for why Rick was taken to her room, it was because only Xian and Lin lived in this cave. It was not an ordinary wealthy family. Could it be that they often prepared a guest room for people to rest? Was Xian? Who? The sudden clear voice of a young man startled everyone in the cave. Oh, Mr. Luo Wen, how did you appear here? Luo, how did you find us? Mom, he is Luo Wen. Be careful, this person seems to know a lot about us. Evelyn and Jonathan were surprised, looking at the handsome young man who suddenly appeared at the entrance of the cave, with a confused look on their faces. Lin quietly walked to her mother's side, and handed the bronze sword to her hand. Chapter 356 Chapter 435 Mysterious Visitor. Who are you? Why do you know my name? Are you here for the fountain of eternal life? The elegance and calmness on her face disappeared. At this moment, Xian was filled with endless coldness. Obviously, the Okana family and Lin had a deep friendship, which made Xian treat them differently. And Ran, in Lin's mouth, became a person who needed to be careful. No wonder the mother and daughter were on high alert and ready to pounce on them at any time. Oh, wait, Lin, explain to your mother that Luo helped us before. He should have no ill intentions, and he has nothing in his hands, right? Fortunately, Evelyn spoke up to persuade them, which gradually relaxed the mother and daughter who were on the verge of a fight. Of course, it was because of Evelyn's words that Raun continued to smile, instead of restraining his expression and directly killing. Well, since Ms. Evelyn has spoken, I will explain it again. My name is Raun, a Middle-earth person. I'm neither a representative of any party nor a controller of any power. I'm just me, a passerby who wants to find answers. What? Jonathan ran to the cave opening to enjoy the dreamy panoramic view of Shangri-La. It was as if the cave had a huge French window, and outside the window was a vibrant green world. Evelyn also took Rick to the room at the corner of the cave. Only Raun and Xian were standing quietly in the center of the cave. It seemed that Xian did not think that Raun's harmless appearance could be communicated with him boldly. Lin and Alex were at a loss. They wanted to leave, but they were afraid of accidents. They wanted to speak, but they didn't know where to start. They could only sit quietly next to the sleeping Buddha, ready to listen to what they would talk about, and seemed to be ready to help at any time, to prevent Raun from doing anything radical. Wow, Luo Wen's eyes once again slowly swept across the entire cave. He had no lingering feelings for the fountain of eternal life, which was densely packed with microscopic parasites. Although the effect of this spring water was magical and the appearance was also exceptionally beautiful, Luo Wen did not want to use this kind of symbiotic organism to achieve the purpose of prolonging life. That is, by parasitizing in the host's body and then transforming the elemental power between heaven and earth, prolonging the host's life, and then allowing them to reproduce and relocate with the host's movement. As for whether there are any hazards, who knows if they will backfire on their masters and cause irreparable losses. Think about the Dragon Emperor in the plot. Didn't he die after being pierced through the heart by the dragon blade? The advantages and disadvantages are too obvious. It's okay for Luo Wen to do some research himself, but it's absolutely impossible for him to use it for his family. Cups, plates, candles, and daily tools. To be honest, Luo Wen was originally a little angry with the mother and daughter, thinking that they were all brainless people who betrayed their country and made trouble. But looking at the environment they lived in, he really didn't know what to say. For thousands of years, they have lived in such a simple environment. They have been thinking about seeking revenge on the Dragon Emperor for generations. They have never let go of the past, and have not started their own lives again. This mother and daughter are really extreme in character. Wow, please. Suddenly, the rocks in front of Luo Wen surged and turned into a smooth stone table. At the same time, 4 stone benches also grew out from the ground. It's amazing. He actually has the ability to create things out of thin air. As an ancient cultivator, Xian not only studies the power of element, but also has some knowledge of medicine, martial arts, and magic. However, it is the first time she has seen a powerful cultivator like Luo Wen who is so young, but can achieve such a realm. Why did she say that Luo Wen was so young? That was naturally because she was comparing him to herself. She was an ancient who had lived for more than 2000 years. Luo Wen exuded a vigorous vitality, and there was a powerful life energy fluctuation that made people dare not breathe. Xian had already given up the idea of fighting against him. If it weren't for the existence of the fountain of eternal life, with her true cultivation, she would have turned into a pile of yellow earth long ago. Wow, is he using superpowers? I don't know either. It should be magic. I have read in my mother's book the descriptions of people with high realms by ancient monks. Creating things out of thin air is a manifestation of a high level of mastery of elemental power. Magic? Monk? Elemental power. Although Lin explained these tongue-twisting terms to Alex, he was a foreigner who had only a superficial understanding of Middle-earth culture. How could he understand these except for superpowers or supernatural powers? Even if Lin explained it to him in detail, it would not be so easy for a while. According to your age, I should call you senior, but your various behaviors. Ms. Xian, please take a seat first. Luo Wen hesitated for a moment, but still did not call her by her name. Not wanting to appear too impolite was one thing, but Luo Wen was an ancient cultivator in the key refining stage, and the son of an orphan and a widow. Was he going to kill them, just because of what they did to the Dragon Emperor and the country of Middle-earth? It seemed a bit too bullying, wasn't it? It would be better to sit down and talk calmly, waiting for the arrival of the Dragon Emperor. Maybe they could resolve their grievances of thousands of years. Middle-earth people don't fight Middle-earth people. Isn't it good to point their guns at the outside world? Creek, move your feet. The current situation is out of control. Xian sits opposite Luo Wen. The faint pressure from Luo Wen makes Xian dare not move, at least before she realizes that he releases his malicious intent. Cautious cooperation is the best choice. Would you like some tea? Whoosh, tea sets, and tea leaves in a pottery jar appeared directly in Luo Wen's hands. This is a Zoomin AG. Who on earth is he to have such a terrifying magical power? Gilu, the fragrant green tea is more obvious than the passive enhancement effect of the fountain of eternal life. Of course, these are the tea trees that Luo Wen himself used his spiritual power to promote. To put it in an exaggerated way, the endless spiritual power in Luo Wen's body seems to be one level higher than the elemental power of this world. After all, spiritual power can apply different spell effects at any time according to different spell patterns, such as Samadhi, True Fire and Heavenly Thunder spell. Based on Luo Wen's observation of the Dragon Emperor, the power of the 5 element he mastered is just a superficial application of the 5 element, such as small fireballs, ice spikes, and the unity of the 5 element, to control objects with force. Luo Wen was gifted with energy affinity by the system, and he would constantly absorb and transform the energy between heaven and earth. Therefore, he was extremely sensitive to the judgment of energy levels. The strengthening effect of spiritual power was higher than the elemental power of this world, and higher than other ordinary worlds. After living for a few months, the results were repeatedly confirmed by Luo Wen. Ms. Xian, I have a question. Please enlighten me. For those who practice, age is not the basis for high or low. The most accomplished ones come first. Daoist Luo, please ask. Luo Wen stated his intention, and he was full of sincerity. He observed etiquette, and took out the legendary spiritual tea. Xian naturally lowered her posture, no longer alert as before, but with a serious and slightly cautious look. Chapter 357, Dragon Emperor Resurrection. In Shangri-La, the valley paradise inside the cave, there are not only lush plants, but also clear rivers and waterfalls passing through. The species of creatures are also rich and colorful. After all, there are snow monsters, and other legendary creatures in the Middle-earth, can also be found here. In particular, there is actually a secluded tribe living in Shangri-La. Although the population is less than 10,000, the culture is quite prosperous and advanced. The entire mountain tribe is a devout Buddhist. There are no rules for ordinary or non-practice here. Men farm and women weave, and they live a happy, peaceful, and prosperous life with abundant products. Before, Lin took people out, to guard the tomb of the Dragon Emperor, and the materials needed by the mother and daughter living in this cave were actually all because of the help of the mountain tribe, and they were not as pitiful as Luo Wen saw at first sight. As a cultivator, Xian, even if she is at the lowest level of the key refining stage, has endless life, because she guards the eternal spring. Whether it is medical skills or the knowledge and cultural inheritance of the mountain tribe, she plays a vital role. After so long, you still haven't let go of your hatred for the Dragon Emperor, and even chose to let Lin travel thousands of miles to find the Dragon Emperor's true body? Luo Wen heard Xian tell him about the love, hatred, and vengeance of 2000 years ago. It was just like what was introduced in the movie plot, but there were still some differences in the details. Maybe Xian herself also found that what she did at the time caused the long-standing weakness of the Middle-earth. Otherwise she would not have lived in this cave in poverty for thousands of years. This is both a kind of practice and a kind of atonement. She is atonement for her own selfish desires, but she feels guilty for the people of the whole world in the Middle-earth. As for the hatred for the Dragon Emperor, it has not diminished with the passage of time. If the Dragon Emperor had not broken his promise, and even though he had obtained the bone scrolls that recorded the secret of immortality, he still wanted to separate her and Ji Yuoming, and even wanted to dismember Ji Yuoming in front of her. Xian might not have cast a curse on the Dragon Emperor, turning him into an immortal skeleton monster, nor would he have turned him into an immobile clay figurine, buried deep underground for thousands of years. That's right, Xian promised to find the secret of immortality for the Dragon Emperor, and on this basis, she wanted the Dragon Emperor to allow her and Ji Yuoming to stay together for life. Unfortunately, the Dragon Emperor broke his promise. He not only wanted the secret of immortality, but also coveted Xian's beauty, and wanted to marry her as his queen. This was the root cause of the tragedy that happened later. No, I will never forget the ugly face of the Dragon Emperor who broke his promise. In his eyes, there are only endless desires and the ambition to conquer the whole world. However, I did not expect that the death of the Dragon Emperor would cause the Middle-earth to be unable to recover for 1000 years. This is not my wish, but if the Dragon Emperor agrees to my request, if Ji Yuoming and I can stay together for life, what does it matter if he conquers the world? Xian, who was inexplicably sad, talked about the past 1000 years ago. His eyes were still dazed, full of nostalgia and loss. Oh, is that so? After hearing this, the Dragon Emperor is not going to show up. Bullshit, bullshit. When you and Ji Yuoming went to the western border, I told Ji Yuoming that you are the woman I like, and I'm the king, and he is the minister. I have had an affair with you and you are pregnant. Where is my face? Bang, bang, bang. The Dragon Emperor, who had come in angrily before, was blocked by an invisible barrier outside the entrance. Suddenly, he heard someone talking about the grievances of 1000 years ago, so he temporarily suppressed the idea of entering violently. As a result, as he listened, the Dragon Emperor finally reacted. It turned out that his beloved General Ji Yuoming had turned a deaf ear to his military orders in private and had an affair with Xian. He hates it. It is because of Ji Yuoming, a treacherous man, that he has been sleeping for 1000 years and has become the half-human half-ghost appearance he is now. Dragon Emperor. Oh no, Rick, Evelyn, that 1000-year-old mummy has resurrected again. The Dragon Emperor suddenly broke in, venting his boundless anger, and he had no rationality at all. This made Ran a little disgusted. And Jonathan's shouting also made Rick and his wife, who had rested for several hours, and Lynn and Alex, who were cooking in the kitchen, run out. Humph, what's wrong with Ji Yuoming? He fought for you for half his life. Why should he be manipulated by you even in his personal feelings? He and I are in love with each other. Why should I choose you? Why can't I choose to stay with him for the rest of my life? Oh. The Okana family aimed their weapons at the Dragon Emperor, and Xian knew for the first time that there was such a special situation between her, the Dragon Emperor, and Ji Yuoming. But even if there was such an explanation, what did it matter? She and Ji Yuoming were in love with each other. Why did the Dragon Emperor act arbitrarily? This, Mrs. Evelyn, Mr. Rick, I don't think this has anything to do with you. What do you think? No. He is a mummy. He is evil. I dug him out by accident. I want to send him back underground. Rowan stood up and blocked the Okana couple, while Alex still looked confused, jumping out to be a savior and a hero in the hearts of the people. Mom, what should we do now? Lin walked quickly to Zion's side, and the dragon blade in her hand was once again tightly clenched in her palm. Wait, with fellow Daoist Luo here, the Dragon Emperor can't do anything to us. Let's listen to what he wants to say first. Haha, okay, you damned aliens, you have come out to stop me again and again. After I get the perfect body, I must conquer your country and make you all my slaves. The Dragon Emperor didn't care so much. As for venting his anger on Zion, he probably felt that it didn't make much sense. After all, the deadly feud between them has lasted for thousands of years. It is impossible and meaningless to go back to the past or find Gu Oming to confront him. There is no point in saying more. As the former overlord of the world, the Dragon Emperor didn't want to be the incompetent king in people's mouths. He lifted the heavy clay figurine and was about to jump into the fountain of eternal life. As long as he was reborn here, he would not only restore his physical body, but also gain supreme power. With absolute power, everything can be easily obtained. Why bother to argue with others? Just take it directly. I said, it's not the turn of outsiders to intervene here. Can't you hear what I say? Boom. The majestic aura that soared into the sky directly pressed Alex to the ground. He was terrified, as if at this moment, he understood what fear and fear were. Plop, the Dragon Emperor successfully jumped into the fountain of eternal life. It seemed that Rowan's pressure was not released on him, just like everyone else except Alex. Mrs. Evelyn, I think you really should discipline your son. Leave and return to your own country. Remember, don't think of yourself as a savior anymore. You are not, and can't do it. Oh, what's going on? I actually flew up. Whoosh, this, Alex. Lin. The Okana family was controlled by Rowan's telekinesis, and flew out of the cave, flying at a very fast speed towards the transport plane they came from. Lin and Alex, who had a good impression of each other, seemed to be reluctant to leave. Lin, what are you doing? If you want to follow him, then go ahead. Don't forget that you are Gu Oming's daughter, and you are from Middle-earth. Zion, who didn't have much good feelings towards foreigners, now saw them being sent away by Luo Wen, and felt relieved, without any discomfort. Luo, the Dragon Emperor is about to increase his strength. The problems of the Middle-earth people can only be solved by the Middle-earth people. What if we revive the Dragon Emperor? There was no longer any noisy foreigner in the cave, and Lin, with a lonely face, seemed to know that she and Alex, a foreigner, would no longer have any contact. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 358 Restriction. Raw haha, I feel it, this is a real immortality, this is a real eternal life. Raw. 3 identical human faces emerged from the pool, and then they changed into 3 dragon heads covered with dragon scales. Compared with the lizard dragon in the plot, the eastern black dragon that Rowan saw now is more majestic and domineering, and it also fits the identity of the Dragon Emperor. As for the Okana family, it's better to go back to where they came from. No matter whether Rowan stands on the side of modern people or the side of the Dragon Emperor, he will never choose to stand on the side of the foreigners. If it weren't for the Okana couple's good character and personality, just based on Alex's repeated instructions to him, Rowan would have cut his neck with a telekinetic knife. He didn't cherish his life and jumped around. Rowan really tolerated him for a long time. The plot has changed from here, and Rowan didn't think it would have much impact anyway. Roar up, Dragon Emperor, can you change back first? Do you know that this is very noisy? All of Luo Wen's fantasies about the first emperor of the ages had long since turned to ashes. As for this Dragon Emperor who was brave, but not wise, and couldn't even help his subordinates, Luo Wen was quite speechless. Raw, what are you talking about? Do you know that I'm the common ruler of the world? How dare you talk to me like this? Puff. A big dragon head rolled directly to the ground, and the Dragon Emperor, who was screaming and howling in pain, suddenly lost control of his body. He opened his mouth, but couldn't make any sound. It seemed that there was a force of 10,000 kilograms pressing on him. In his soul and sea of consciousness, there was a golden body of 10,000 feet, pressing on the top of the little Dragon Emperor's head. Swish, swish. It was obvious that he was twitching with pain, but the Dragon Emperor was frozen in the air, motionless, with only a trace of madness and endless fear in his eyes. You are the Dragon Emperor, but don't forget the priorities. If you can bring prosperity to Middle-earth, you will naturally be an eternal wise ruler respected by all the people. But if you are arbitrary and only want to conquer for the sake of conquest, I think you'd rather die than live. Boom! The black dragon head on the ground was burned into nothingness by an invisible nameless fire. The Dragon Emperor, who was standing next to him and couldn't move, couldn't even blink. He could only watch as part of his power incarnation was burned. Giloo, it turns out that the so-called immortality, in the face of more terrifying power, is still a matter of life and death, and it all depends on the thoughts of this Taoist fellow Luo Wen. Mom, he's too scary. Well, yes, it's really too scary, but isn't it good this way? The Dragon Emperor has been arbitrary all his life, and now he thinks he is invincible. He didn't expect that he would be suppressed by fellow Taoist Luo and couldn't move. I think it must be a good thing for the people of the world, isn't it? I'll ask you again now, are you willing to talk nicely? Oh, Luo Wen untied the divine restraint on the Dragon Emperor and almost killed the overlord of the world unjustly. Master, please forgive me, I offended you. I can talk nicely. Be able to bend and stretch, and not lose the true nature of man. Besides, the Dragon Emperor is crazy, but that is also divided into times. Facing an unfathomable master who can burn him to ashes with his magical powers, the Dragon Emperor naturally knows what kind of attitude to show. Fellow Taoist Zion, Lin, Guolin, you sit down too. Luo Wen sat on the stone bench he had prepared earlier, and with a glance, the Dragon Emperor pretended to be calm, and sat on his right side. Zion sat opposite Luo Wen, and Guolin carefully lowered her head, and sat on Luo Wen's left side. Gurgle. Luo Wen began to wash the cups, and then made tea. Luo, how about, let me do it? Mom, Senior Luo, how about letting me do it? After witnessing Luo Wen's terrifying strength, Zion and Guolin changed their relaxed mood. The Dragon Emperor, with a complicated look in his eyes, looked at his former crush and the daughter of the rebel General Guoming. He was also overwhelmed with emotions for a while, but because the immortal master was sitting next to him, he dared not say anything. As the saying goes, enemies should be resolved rather than made. From dust to dust, from ashes to ashes, Taoist Zion has been trapped by her inner demons, and has lived in seclusion here for 1,000 years, while the Dragon Emperor has been sealed underground for 1,000 years, because of his improper behavior and lack of moral integrity. I think you should be able to resolve this unsolvable hatred, right? Zion didn't speak, and the Dragon Emperor also had a blank expression. Guolin, who raised his head slightly, didn't dare to speculate. I'm just reminding you, not asking you. What does he mean by this? I have placed a ban on you, called the symbiosis curse. The pain suffered by one person will be felt by the other person, including death. What? There is such a weird method in the world. Also, Dragon Emperor, do you know why I watched you jump into the fountain of eternal life, to regain your body this time without stopping you? I don't know. Please tell me clearly, Immortal Master. He clasped his fists, and put on an attitude of humility, willing to learn. It's not that Luo Wen didn't see what the Dragon Emperor was thinking. He was just pretending, thinking about dealing with the crisis in front of him, and making other plans. Was his repentance, or his respect and fear for himself just a deliberate act? Forget it, Luo Wen didn't plan to stay in this world for long. He saw through it, but didn't say it out loud. Let him be proud for a while. You are a king. You have an invincible body, which will make it easier for you to conquer the world. I want to advise you to be lenient to others, strict with yourself, and set an example for others. Of course, these are just my personal opinions. You are born extraordinary, so you should understand these principles more thoroughly than me. Luo Wen, who was persuading them step by step, was like a completely different person from the decisive killer just now. However, the tea in front of Xiaoyan and Jiuolin was slowly getting cold, but they still didn't dare to reach out to take it. Obviously, Luo Wen's terrifying image had left a deep impression in their hearts. Oh, thank you for the Immortal Master's teachings. I'm very grateful. In the future, I will definitely follow the Immortal Master's words and be a benevolent king with consistent character and behavior. TSK, you are still fooling me. Dragon Emperor, your little thoughts. I have telepathy and can see clearly. Haha, Dragon Emperor, you don't have to pretend here. I will teach you through the heart refining technique. If they do good, you must do good too. Otherwise, those who do evil will be punished by the true fire burning heart at noon every day, which will make their lives worse than death. What? There is actually a spell that is more terrifying and weird than the symbiosis curse? Practicing the heart refining technique will change your personality towards the unity of knowledge and action. Doing evil is the purest evil in the world, and doing good is the righteous goodness of the world. Because of the symbiosis curse, if you, Dragon Emperor, do the opposite of them, and are inconsistent in your appearance and heart, you will be punished by the true fire burning heart. On the contrary, if you finally communicate with them, you will be blessed with strength and your strength will be doubled. The unity of knowledge and action does not mean to be a kind person, but to be consistent in appearance and heart. Every action is based on good intentions, or in other words, do what you say. Saving the people of the world from danger and killing all the evildoers do not conflict. As long as they fight for the sake of punishing the good and promoting the evil, and for the sake of justice, they will improve their cultivation and increase their strength. And this is the backup plan left by Luo Wen. Anyway, as long as their strength does not exceed Luo Wen's current realm, this restriction will always exist. According to the energy level of this world, I'm afraid that they will not be able to exceed the peak of the nascent soul realm before their eternal life is exhausted. Chapter 359 Personal Preference. That's all I have to say. Take care of yourself. Luo Wen was like a sudden outsider. He felt that he had seen through people's hearts. He also felt that the 1,000-year grudge between Xiaoyan and Dragon Emperor was nothing but selfish thoughts. He left two restrictions and showed his skills in front of them. It seemed that the two parties shook hands and made peace, and the matter was over. Whoosh, in the dark cave of the Eternal Spring, Luo Wen just took a jade bottle and filled it. Xiaoyan didn't say anything, and Dragon Emperor also bowed his head and remained silent. Then, Luo Wen's figure disappeared directly from their eyes, like a mountain breeze without a trace. The extremely powerful alien Luo Wen left for a long time, and the three people in the cave breathed a sigh of relief. Dragon Emperor's face suddenly changed color, and he hurried to explore the heart-refining art that Luo Wen had forcibly left in his sea of consciousness. Xiaoyan and Jiuolin also seemed to react, and hurried to follow suit. Mother, my father's revenge. Do we really have to live and die with this Dragon Emperor in the future? On the stone bench next to the stone pavilion, only the Dragon Emperor's face changed, and his aura became more and more gloomy. Xiaoyan and her daughter walked to the side and looked at the man with a vigilant expression. The hatred and resentment in their eyes could no longer be hidden and suppressed. Luo Wen is much higher than my mother in realm and his strength is too unfathomable. I'm afraid that the restrictions he left in our bodies must be real. Even this heart-refining technique, how could it easily change his cruelty and ambition? He is the Dragon Emperor. Xiaoyan muttered to herself. Her heart was full of twists and turns. What she encountered today was too incredible. How could the 1,000-year-old feud that should have been a life and death struggle, when they met so easily, shake hands and make peace and let it go? Symbiosis curse. Symbiosis curse. Such a god-given opportunity. Instead of waiting for the Dragon Emperor to find a way to break it, it is better to die with him now. But, Lina is so innocent. No. Instead of living meaninglessly, it is better to drag the Dragon Emperor to meet Jiuo Lang underground. Woman, don't think I don't know what you are up to. Want to die? Drink. The Dragon Emperor's strength at this time is indeed stronger than Xiaoyan. After enduring the corrosion and resentment of time, he was able to escape and resurrect. The Dragon Emperor, who was already gifted, had his body reshaped by the fountain of eternal life. The upper limit of his whole body's energy far exceeded that of Luo Wen at this time, not to mention Luo Wen, who failed to draw the air into his body. A powerful elemental force directly grabbed the throats of Luo Wen and her daughter. Impossible, impossible, there is actually a ban. Luo Wen and her daughter were out of breath. The Dragon Emperor really felt the physical discomfort. Damn it, I'm the master of the world, but now I'm controlled by others. Impossible, impossible. Letting go of the elemental hand that was strangling the mother and daughter, the furious Dragon Emperor instantly turned into a black head with 3 heads. Roar, a strong wind blew in the cave, and all the things were blown to the ground, and the candles that were always lit were extinguished. The eternal fountain set off waves, but the stone pavilion and the stone table and stone bench left by Luo Wen remained motionless. Although the Dragon Emperor fell into madness, he did not forget to use his powerful force to imprison Luo Wen and her daughter. He personally verified the authenticity of the symbiotic curse. Of course, he could not just let it go. How could the Dragon Emperor want to live and die together? Roar. Shit, that Rowan, why did he drive us out? Why did he stop us from dealing with the Dragon Emperor? He is a mummy who came back to life. If he summons his terracotta army, won't the whole world be plunged into war? Alex kept chattering, and it seemed that he didn't think he had done anything wrong, or had any mistakes in his ideas. In other words, after getting rid of Ran's terrifying pressure, he became lively and fearless again. Alex, shut up. The struggle of superpowers is no longer something that ordinary people like us can participate in. The Dragon Emperor is resurrected, and there is his undead army. We should prepare early. What do you think, Rick? Evelyn's face gradually sank, and she was helpless and deeply uneasy at this time. Obviously, although this was only the second time they met Ran, she had almost understood the preferences of this superpowered Middle-earth monk. Their family was an adventurer who explored and searched for treasures all over the world, but for some people, or the people of Middle-earth, this was taking things without asking, like a robber. Ran's politeness to them was just politeness. In fact, he was not very welcoming to them. That's right, Alex, you should let go of your thoughts about Lynn and come back to London with us. War is coming. This time it will not be a simple conquest and killing. It is very likely to be a war of destruction of civilization. Rick is no longer in good health. Although he sighs at the magic of the eternal fountain in Middle-earth, he is also serious at this time, because it concerns the world peace. Moreover, Round's alienation and warning to them are already obvious. Return to your own country, and be an ordinary person in peace. Isn't this the secret word for these foreigners, to become the rule of Middle-earth civilization? But, we are going back like this. Is there really no other way? Alex still wants to fight for it. In addition to anger, his face is more reluctant. He is angry, because he was pressed to the ground by Round's pressure and lost face. He is reluctant. It should be Lynn that he has been thinking about, right? Okay, Alex, we can't stay in Middle-earth anymore. You've seen how terrifying Ran is. Let's go. How can they contend with such a terrifying supernatural power that can control their family and their luggage over a straight line distance of more than 10 kilometers and return to their transport plane? With one last look at the secret realm of Shangri-La deep in the mountain top, the O'Connor family boarded the plane with mixed feelings and a lonely look on their faces. Mad Dog, take us back to London. We have a new mission to complete, and it's very important. The spring breeze blew, and the drums of war beat. Round did not really disappear between heaven and earth as the Dragon Emperor saw. Instead, when the Dragon Emperor returned to the Imperial Mausoleum alone, he followed him quietly. No matter what arrangements I make, the hatred between Luo Wen and the Dragon Emperor is still unresolved, right? The yellow sand rolled, the wind rolled, and the clouds surged. The weather in early spring was still very cold. The soldiers stationed here by General Yang were ready to go, standing in a neat line in a square formation, waiting for the Eternal Emperor on the Dragon Emperor statue to summon his immortal army and then unify the world. Wake up. With a long howl, the land full of yellow sand directly cracked into several underground passages. Hiss, roar, bang, bang. A piece of terrifying murderosaur was released from it, and the clouds in the sky seemed to be dyed with a grey color. Then there was the sound of neat footsteps, and the endless clay figurines of the undead army, holding bronze long spears, bronze swords, and broken but bloody black dragon flags in their hands. You must wake up now, to stop the chaos and corruption in the world and restore the rule of law. I will rule the world, and put an end to freedom. I summon you to spread your prestige and justice to the world. You must follow me, cross the Great Wall, achieve immortality, capture cities, kill without mercy. Rumble, pop, long live the Dragon Emperor, long live the Dragon Emperor. Huata, huata, along with the Dragon Emperor's passionate voice, spread throughout the army. The thunderous response and the blood vibrating sound of the weapons hitting the ground undoubtedly made everyone present boil. In the mass graves of the Great Wall not far away, open the entrance to the past, release the souls of the victims, and in the name of ancestors and justice, I offer my daughter eternal life. Please respond to my call, and extinguish the anger of the oppressed against the tyrant and his followers. I summon you, thousands of wronged souls, seize this moment, win the victory, and take revenge in the name of justice. Wen, wearing sacrificial clothes, and carrying a bronze sword on his back, made a seal with his hands, as if he was going to fight the undead with the undead, and to fight the ambitious Dragon Emperor to the death within this Great Wall. The symbiotic spell seemed to be suppressed by the Dragon Emperor. In other words, the three-headed black dragon transformed by the Dragon Emperor split into 3 independent black dragons. Wen and her daughter only had 2 lives, but the Dragon Emperor had 3. Even if Wen and Lin committed suicide, the Dragon Emperor would only suffer a great loss in strength, and they would not truly live and die together. However, the Dragon Emperor would not take the initiative to attack Wen and her daughter. After all, with 3 lives, why would he cut off his own retreat and greatly reduce his strength? Chapter 316. Oh, you know nothing about my strength. Oh kill. Crack, crack. The screaming mummies and bones showed no signs of strict military discipline. Instead, they were missing arms and legs, skinny, and holding scraps of copper and iron, mostly farm tools and city repair tools. The Great Wall was built to prevent foreign tribes from invading the Han people in China. Of course, the Dragon Emperor was the greatest emperor of all time, and he was decisive in killing, and had never done anything to show mercy. This was not only to stabilize his throne, but also to let those who dared to resist him know how wrong it would be to disobey his orders. Most of the people who were driven to build the Great Wall were defeated soldiers of the old vassal states, as well as the ruling class in power, and some civilians drawn from various vassal states. They suffered from wind and rain, hunger and cold, and countless deaths and injuries. In order to consolidate his ruling position and eliminate the potential risks of the new empire, the Dragon Emperor had good intentions. Moreover, the Dragon Emperor took the death of these people for granted, and even used their bones as wall building materials, and buried them in the bricks and stones of the Great Wall. Rumble. Large sections of the ancient city wall began to collapse. Perhaps when choosing the mass graves in the terracotta warriors and horses cemetery, the Dragon Emperor also arranged them together for the sake of mutual checks and balances, with the solemn majesty of the panic-stricken army, to suppress those wronged souls who might rebel after death. A large number of rebel bones stood behind a tall corpse with a missing arm. According to the setting and the plot, this person seems to be Luo Wen, the most loyal general of the Dragon Emperor, and the person who betrayed him in the end. Okay, you are deliberately going against me, right? Then don't blame me for being ungrateful. Kill. The sword pointed to the direction of the Dragon Emperor's army. Rumble. The earth began to tremble. Bang, bang, bang. Hey, hey. Charge. Everyone's chance to take revenge has come. Charge. It is impossible to see what the eyes mean, or in other words, in the dark eye sockets, it is impossible to see anything except the rotten body. But from Luo Wen's hoarse roar, it seems that he can feel his dissatisfaction and indignation towards the Dragon Emperor he once served. Oh, kill. Kill these dead people. I want revenge. Crack, crack. On one side is a neat battle formation, and on the other side is a scattered rebel army. Although they are all undead, in terms of equipment alone, the Dragon Emperor's side is better. However, the strong will to fight on both sides seems to be almost the same. Even with the same army size of hundreds of thousands on one side, there is no so-called advantage on either side. Of course, the Dragon Emperor still has thousands of soldiers equipped with modern weapons, which are the few living troops in this earth-shattering battle. Listen to my orders. Charge, charge, and destroy all the Dragon Emperor's enemies. General Yang is really the #1 loyal minister. From the beginning to the end, he can escape death every time. I don't know if it's his good luck or his luck is not over yet. But, creak, creak, the armored tanks started to start, and those military vehicles and armed command vehicles followed closely. Whoosh, the propeller planes on the simple apron also stepped on the throttle and flew into the sky with weapons and ammunition. Da-da-da, da-da-da, bang bang bang, chirp, chirp, boom, boom. Hundreds of meters away, hot weapons took the lead in opening the prelude to the war, and the planes in the sky also began to drop aerial bombs. Boom, a huge golden palm, like a god descending, spanning time and space, covering the sky and the sun, and falling suddenly. The two sides who had just come into contact and were about to fight to the death stopped their actions in amazement. The undead who were just excited and infected by the fighting momentum on the battlefield suddenly fell into the abyss, panicking and at a loss. Bang, a palm fell. The magic plus the telekinesis, the power in it is more than 1,000 pounds. And on the dusty ground, there was only a huge palm print with 5 fingers standing side by side, a diameter of more than several kilometers, and a depth of several meters. Of course, this is just the scene from Luo Wen's perspective. On the battlefield below, except for a few surviving edge bones and terracotta warriors, as well as the Dragon Emperor and Wen mother and daughter, their eyes were empty, and the hustle and bustle and countless undead in front of them were empty, and without a trace. This is? The undead spirits live in dry bones, rotten corpses, and pottery figurines. They should be able to use their soul power to gather their bodies together, which is what ordinary people understand as immortal bodies. But now, not to mention that their bodies have been smashed into pieces, the exorcism power in the golden palm alone has made those floating black air melt directly between heaven and earth. Without the protection of the dead air, the souls of the undead will not be able to resist the demon-killing handprint that is like the scorching sun. With one blow, hundreds of thousands of undead armies turned into nothingness and disappeared between heaven and earth. Such a terrifying power made the Dragon Emperor tremble uncontrollably. Whoosh, mom, look, there are people in the sky. In the world of the living. Don't let these dead people crawl out to join in the fun. Go back. Boom. The scorching sun exploded, and the golden arrows, with Luo Wen as the center, instantly sent all the surviving undead to where they should go. That is, the natural cycle between heaven and earth. Snap, rustle, rustle. Luo Wen fell from the sky to the ground, coming towards them step by step. And those soldiers who were scared out of their wits didn't know what to do at this time. They were left behind by the large army, and Luo Wen's exorcism arrows also deliberately avoided them. In addition to the small army in the center of the battlefield, there were also a dozen unlucky planes. In fact, General Yang's men did not suffer much loss. Why did you suddenly attack my army? No, 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 master, didn't you leave? Luo Wen walked past General Yang and his subordinates and came to the Dragon Emperor who was standing respectfully under the statue. Luo Wen did not directly answer the Dragon Emperor's explanation, which was full of lies and made things more obvious. Instead, he turned his head and looked behind him. Dao Aozian, Jiuolin, I should have warned you before that you should take the overall situation of the Middle-earth into consideration. Why did you ignore my instructions and instead start a war and summon the army of the undead to fight each other? Hoo-hoo, Wen and Jiuolin finally saw Jiuoming again, but before they could talk about their love sickness, they were wiped out by a huge hand that fell from the sky. When they looked up, they saw that the person who attacked was Luo Wen, the alien from a few days ago. Their scalps went numb. They didn't know how to deal with the situation today. Regardless of how complicated their emotions were, Luo Wen had already brought them under the statue with his telekinesis. Alas, the ancients are the ancients after all, and it is difficult to change the old ideas. In this case, then just go back to where you should be like them. Whoosh, Luo Wen's pupils instantly turned golden, and the gentle expression on his face also turned cold and murderous in an instant. Death spell. Plop, the light in the eyes of Dragon Emperor, Wen, and Jiuolin disappeared, and their bodies fell directly on the dusty ground. Dead, without pain, and without any abnormal death. Dragon Emperor's three-headed dragon incarnation, or Luo Wen's fault, and Luo Wen's good intentions. These are worthless to Luo Wen, because he gave them a chance, but they didn't cherish it. General Yang. I'm here. Please tell me, Immortal Master? The trembling General Yang looked at the three corpses in front of him, and seemed to be a little bit unbelievable, but their souls and consciousness were directly wiped out by Luo Wen, and no matter how good their body recovery was, it was obviously useless. From today on, I will hand over the task of restoring the glory of Middle-earth, and conquering the whole world to you. I hope you won't let me down. Good news. General Yang, who had been scheming, obviously did not expect to be chosen by Luo Wen, the extremely powerful Immortal Master. Don't worry, Immortal Master. Yang will fight to the death. Bang, a pile of gold ingots of astonishing weight appeared directly on the ground. These were the gold ingots that Luo Wen took out from various marshals' mansions and foreign banks, with a total weight of 200 tons. Moreover, next to the pile of gold, there is an alloy safe. Inside are various technical drawings. According to these, the assembly line can be directly transformed to produce excellent industrial products and weapons and equipment. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 10 nano armor robots and a box of spare spark reactors were also placed on the ground by Luo Wen. General Yang, you must make good use of these. If you are like the Dragon Emperor, just for your own benefit, maybe you will die soon. But if you can forge ahead and become a wise man, maybe it is not impossible for you to be remembered forever. What do you think? Thank you for the reminder, Master. Yang will definitely keep it in mind. Then I will wait and see. Whoosh, Luo Wen's figure disappeared from everyone's sight, as if he had never appeared. Only the gold piled in the center in those super dream-like alloy boxes clearly reminded them that everything that just happened was indeed real. Ding, the secondary authority has been activated, and the spark armor obeys your instructions, General Yang. Chapter 361 Reward. Luo Wen's final choice was not only beyond General Yang's expectations, but also probably forced him to take out the plan that was ranked very far back in his heart. This was not the plan he had originally envisioned. He hoped that the ambitious monarch, the Dragon Emperor, would listen to his advice, accumulate strength calmly, and then conquer all countries and lands with a posture that modern people could accept. However, he not only found another way to lift the ban of the symbiotic spell, but also came to the Imperial Tomb to summon his own army of undead. What did he want to do? To be a feudal ruler who was beyond ordinary people. Luo Wen held high hopes and even put aside his prejudices against them. The mother and daughter of Zion, who were placed with high hopes, had nothing to do but revenge. It seemed that in their eyes, the oppression of foreign races in the Middle-earth and the civilians living in dire straits were not worth their attention at all. The value of their lives was to stop all the actions of the Dragon Emperor and to avenge him. People with different ideals cannot work together. In this case, let's go to the reincarnation world and fight to the death, and be enemies forever. By the way, I don't know if there is a so-called underworld in this world, and whether there is a so-called reincarnation with memory. In May, General Yang, who grabbed a piece of land, had both money and technology, and even 10 nano armors given by Luo Wen to escort him. The new government developed in full swing and went smoothly. The weak artificial intelligence preset in the nano armor is not as intelligent as when it was controlled by Xinghuo, but as a tool to execute Luo Wen's orders, it is a perfect monitoring tool to monitor whether General Yang and his subordinates kill innocent people. As long as there is no system error, crazy and waste of energy, at least for 100 years, they will maintain their peak combat effectiveness. Entering the Middle-earth in the 20th century, the currency in circulation on the market is foreign money, not the yuan data or silver dollars that Luo Wen is familiar with in other worlds, but paper foreign banknotes. 50 grams of gold, which is 1 teal of a small yellow croaker, can be exchanged for 1,000 banknotes. The smallest unit is the paper money of Mao, and the purchasing power is quite amazing. 2 Mao can buy a pound of rice or a pound of iron. In other words, a small yellow croaker can buy 2.5 tons of rice or 2.5 tons of iron. The gold that Luo Wen gave to General Yang weighed 200 tons. Converted into currency, that is 4 billion foreign banknotes, which is a considerable windfall. and those technical drawings that surpass the current level of technology, as well as nano armor, are even more priceless. Large-scale construction and crazy military expansion. Modern factories are lined up one after another around the city. Perhaps it was because the impression of invincibility left by Luo Wen was too deep, or it was because his method of killing the Dragon Emperor and hundreds of thousands of undead armies was too incredible. The immortal master who appeared suddenly at any time and place had penetrated into the hearts of General Yang and all the soldiers present that day and left an indelible mark in their minds. Not to mention being conscientious and striving for strength, but being cautious and responsible is definitely not enough. At the end of December, in the snowy winter, some corrupt officials and lawless element of the Revolutionary Army were indeed turned into charcoal by the thunder of the immortal master. The whole Shaanxi province was finally united, and the people lived and worked in peace. The new government under the control of General Yang not only trained 100,000 new revolutionary troops, but also had strong soldiers and horses, and the equipment and supplies filled the logistics warehouse. The wind rises, and the clouds fly. I return to my hometown with my might across the country. Where can I find brave warriors to guard the four directions? Today, in the name of Yang Jianwu, I call on the whole province, the military and civilians to be united. Before the Spring Festival, we will liberate the surrounding provinces of Shaanxi, Xia, Gansu and Sichuan with lightning speed, save the people from the dire straits, and let all people in Middle-earth no longer be oppressed by warlords, and no longer be bullied by foreign races. Rumbled the army set out, with an overwhelming array of new weapons, armored vehicles, rocket launchers, howitzers, and large bombers. The supplies in the rear continued to be transported to the border along the rails. The large transport airships in the sky, although not as fast as airplanes, were not much slower than trains. Han people in this world, I have done my best. As for the future, it depends on your own luck. System, return to the main world. With a faint light, Luo Wen's body hidden in the air disappeared directly into this plane. In the Revolutionary Army team that marched forward bravely, the nano armors were all slightly stunned, and then continued to patrol and guard in the team. Ding, return to the main world. The mission has been completed, and the rewards are being distributed. It was still dark outside the window. Luo Wen had been away for more than a year. Although he was a little worried about the progress of Yang Jianwu, the leader of the new government who had always been called General Yang, but a world without many benefits, Luo Wen could have come back when he killed the Dragon Emperor. After all, didn't the system task require him to choose one side to provide help? He did waste nearly a year in it, but he couldn't bear it. Ding, the storage space has increased to 256 meters, and 100 trading points are awarded. The next plane travel will be at the same time at the end of the month. Please keep up the good work and make corresponding preparations. As expected, the system tasks are too simple, and even the rewards are just the boring 100 trading points. System, open the personal panel. Host, Luo Wen race, human, level 0 technological civilization carbon-based creature. Abilities, strength 3500, ordinary person 1, agility 3500, ordinary person 1, stamina 3500, ordinary person 1, spirit 3500, ordinary person 1, Maocean Magic Encyclopedia, divine consciousness, 20,000 meters, telekinesis, 200,000 tons, realm. Nascent Soul Realm, Maocean Orthodoxy, Talent, Energy Affinity, given by the system, Vitality. 3,000 years trading points. 80,700 points storage space. 256 meters in this world with elemental power. Luo Wen's 4-dimensional attributes have been strengthened. However, compared with the previous loose realm, Luo Wen feels that he is just one step away from breaking through the current realm at any time and entering a whole new world. This is good news. The vitality did not increase, and the number of trading points did not change significantly. The increase in storage space is also good news. Next time, Luo Wen can completely install the matter converter. In the future, when he goes to a deserted wilderness or a plain world without a technological foundation, Luo Wen can also cross the early technological climbing period at a very fast speed. In particular, He is always afraid that the energy of the nano armor will be consumed too quickly, and he is reluctant to use antimatter. At that time, there will really be as much as you want. Everyone will have a set of nano armor equipped with an antimatter reactor. If you see someone who is unhappy, you can directly cover them with firepower. Haha, just thinking about it makes me feel that the scene is too beautiful. I'd better adjust my state quickly. Today is February 1st, and the Spark Automobile Delivery Center is waiting for me to unveil it. Luo Wen remembered that there was an important event in the main world today, and he needed to show up in person. He also got up and walked out of the study, took a hot shower, and gently lay on the soft bed, adjusted his breathing, and slowly fell asleep. To adjust your state, nothing is more convenient and natural than sleeping. After all, this is a habit that Luo Wen has developed himself, and it can be regarded as a special reward for himself. Chapter 362 Activity Site. February 1st is almost a month since Spark Technology released the Spark car. It was also announced early that it would be officially released and delivered to the public. The entire Spark Industrial Park has 2 new sales centers covering a large area on both sides of the gate next to the National Highway. The gate is already spacious and has large sales center parking lots on both sides. It is really hard to forget it after seeing it once. In addition to the normal passage of employees and commuter vehicles, the gate of the Spark Technology Park allows suppliers and large trucks to enter and exit from the East Gate 1 or East Gate 2 at both ends of the industrial park. The 2 separated sales centers have 2 floors above ground and 2 floors underground, with a single floor usable area of 40,000 square meters. One is used as the Spark Car Delivery Center, and the Spark car will also drive into the underground parking lot of the delivery center from the underground transportation channel of the Spark Technology Park. As for the other building of the same size, that has not been used yet. What is its use? Fans who came to the Spark Technology Park for the first time and those media also have different opinions and discussions. Hey, buddy, where are you from? Haha, I'm from Zhangjiang province. Isn't it true that the Spark car can be delivered today? I rushed here specially last night. Wow, this place is really remote. There is not even a hotel, so I had to take a taxi to their urban area. Dear fans, I'm your car talking sister. I'm outside the gate of Spark Technology Company in Hucheng now. It's a bit of a pity. I asked and they said that their company has not yet planned to open up visiting rights, so we can't see inside. However, the delivery center will open at 9 o'clock. I heard that from today on, it will be open 24 hours a day. You can come anytime in the future and buy Spark cars. It's supposed to be the beginning of spring in 2 days, and I don't know why it's still so cold. Outside the bustling gate of Spark Technology, people came by taxi, drove, and formed groups. Some came to see the cars, some to meet netizens, and some were holding mobile phone gimbals and broadcasting live. The spring is getting colder and warmer, and the atmosphere of the spring festival is getting stronger. Although it is less interesting and lively than before when material wealth was scarce, as the most important traditional festival, the Spring Festival is still respected and accepted by the world. In the remote Mengquan town of Jiangling district, outside the gate of the Spark Technology Industrial Park surrounded by Qinglong Lake, the traffic volume on the national highway has obviously increased by more than double. It is not because of the peak period of the Spring Festival, nor because the suppliers of the Spark Technology Park are collectively delivering goods, but because today is the first day that the Spark automobile is truly presented to the public. The anti-gravity suspension car, the endurance is calculated by time. The minimum starting price is 100,000. Who doesn't want to see this innovative black technology car with their own eyes? With various black technology blessings and a price that breaks through imagination. Not to mention that the melon-eating crowd has been arguing for a long time. Those multinational automobile groups and listed companies related to the automobile industry in various countries have also sent field inspection personnel early or held tablets in the group's conference room, quietly waiting for the latest media reports. Boss Luo, it's almost time, we can go out. Haha, the bright and beautiful heads of various departments all showed their best condition today, ready to go, full of energy. Maybe they also know that Spark Automobile will be a new generation of industrial products that will create a historical precedent, and as a member of the great Spark Technology company, they are likely to be recorded by the camera of the news reporter today, and they will be proud of it together with the company. Okay, I know. Luo Wen, dressed in a suit and leather shoes, stood up leisurely, so dazzling, under the gaze of men and women, took the elevator down to the underground personnel passage. There are several identity authentications here to ensure that no irrelevant personnel will break in from inside and outside the company. Ding everyone. Today is the day we officially declare war to the outside world. Are you nervous? Luo Wen stood on the escalator, which is completely designed with anti-gravity modules, not the popular motor mechanical structure on the market. Mr. Luo, are you nervous? Cheng Xia, the head of the sales department, wore delicate makeup today. Her hair was tied up high, and the uniform she wore was also a custom-made one she specially prepared. A perfect business elite. Yes, Mr. Luo, you will be giving a speech later. If you are not nervous, why should we be nervous? Hu Zipping, the head of the finance department, gathered the hair beside her ears. The blush on her face showed that she was not as relaxed as she said. Boss Luo, sooner or later our Spark technology will confront those multinational corporations or foreign oligarchs. Now, we should adapt in advance. Yes, with the innovative technologies in our laboratory, even if there is no Spark automobile, the day when we confront those jackals and tigers will not be too late. Lin Jian from the Ministry of Commerce and Mo Wen from the Technology Department were calm and composed at this time. The employees recruited by Spark Technology are all young people. There are few well-known figures who have emerged in major companies. However, it is not that they are incompetent, but that they lack a stage for them to perform and show. After all, there are only so many top 500 companies in Xiaguo, and there are millions of new graduates every year. Opportunities, abilities, backgrounds, and luck. How can everyone have the same conditions at the same time? Oh, it's great that you think this way. Ding. Hello, Mr. Luo. The company's senior executives, led by Luo Wen, walked out of the company's internal employee passage. The entire delivery center was also fully prepared at this time. Whether it was the exhibition car, the meeting room, or the delivery space, or even the children's park and the pet park, they were all managed by employees trained by Spark Technology. The entire delivery center has more than 1,000 staff members, who were divided into 4 shifts, and took turns to work. They worked 5 days a week, and rested 2 days a week, 8 hours a day. In addition to the day shift, there were shift subsidies for the middle and evening shifts. Today is the first day of opening, so 2 shifts of more than 500 people were arranged to work the day shift together. Luo Wen can be said to be particularly serious about humanized management. Thank you for your hard work. I asked you to come to work 2 hours early, open the door, maintain order, and invite the guests in. Haha, the approachable Luo Wen greeted everyone with a gentle face, and then began to give orders for everyone to get ready. Of course, Mr. Luo was not only polite, but all the employees knew that they would definitely get overtime pay and performance bonuses, and maybe even cash bonuses, for coming to work 2 hours early today. Manager Hu, give each employee who works overtime a 200 yuan cash bonus. Just deduct it from my salary. Oklahoma, Mr. Luo. Sure enough, what the employees thought immediately became a reality. Luo Wen turned around and started to greet the head of the finance department next to him. Chapter 363, Hot Scene. Oh my god, the boss of Spark Technology is so young and even more handsome than me. Is there any justice or law? Every person who walks into the sales center or delivery center is greeted by the Spark Technology employees standing at the door and given a smart bracelet, which can also be used as a voice recognition controller or a watch to check the time. The heart rate sensor, speed sensor, and positioning module are more sophisticated and have more complete functions than the hundreds or thousands of smart bracelets on the market. Here, they are given out for free as license plates, which can be taken away or returned to the staff when you go out. Anyway, Spark Technology produces them by itself, and each one costs only about 10 yuan, so just treat it as a small benefit for consumers. The sales center, which opens on time at 9 o'clock, has already gathered people from all walks of life at the door, with a number of no less than 10,000. Most of them come simply to watch the fun, or want to buy a car as soon as possible. There are also many people with impure thoughts or other purposes. Everyone, please abide by the order. The space in the store is limited. For everyone's visiting experience, those who have not received the bracelet, please wait at the door for a while. Our staff will provide you with seats, snacks, and drinks. We will also project the product introductions inside on the holographic projection at the door in real time. The 5,000 people who walked into the store were naturally full of curiosity, and their eyes were dazzled, and they kept looking around. There were young staff members responsible for introductions and explanations in each area, and more staff members were constantly guiding the crowd, asking everyone to disperse and not crowd at the door. In addition to the display of all models of Spark cars in the lobby on the first floor, there is also a second floor inside. In fact, there are special exhibition halls and various functional divisions. The entire high-strength fiberglass curtain wall allows sunlight and vision to penetrate directly. Those who failed to queue up in the first batch of people were also staring outside with their heads raised. In front of the huge sales center, a holographic screen several meters high was projected on both sides. A handsome young man stood in front of a dreamy Spark car and greeted everyone. Inside the building, holographic screens of different sizes also appeared on every wall or booth. Wow, it's awesome. With the sales center full of black technology, other car companies' 4S stores can't catch up with it. TSK, 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 they give me a smart bracelet as soon as I come in. I feel like I earned back my plane ticket. But why don't I see this on the official website of Spark Technology? Haha, hush, don't make noise. The mysterious boss of Spark Technology has appeared. Oh my god, so young. Ah, wow, look, it's a handsome guy. I want to change my boyfriend. The man was still a little rational, and those crazy women were so excited that their eyes were full of peach blossoms and their faces were full of joy. I really don't know if these people are here to buy cars or to see their idols. Hello everyone, I'm Luo Wen, the founder of Spark Technology. Without further ado, I'll introduce to you the specific functions of the Spark car. Luo Wen, with a gentle face, did not stand in front of everyone to hold a press conference, but in a showroom where guests can experience the real car. He broadcast a live unboxing video to everyone in real time through a full sensing lens. At the same time, the official website of Spark Technology also synchronized the chairman's live footage. The Spark car has been released for almost a month. The approximate appearance and data should be clear to everyone. I will not go into details about these one by one. Perhaps there will be relevant explanation videos on the internet soon. Luo Wen's youth exceeds the cognition of many people. Even his appearance makes those crazy star-chasing girls instantly fall in love with the handsome face of this tech upstart. TSK, 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 it's incredible. The awesome Spark Technology is actually privately owned by such a handsome guy. How rich must he be? Isn't he a tall, rich and handsome guy? Yes. I wonder if he has a girlfriend or not. What kind of girls does he like? The focus of little girls is always different from that of men. When men see Luo Wen, they will only say TSK in their hearts, and then put their eyes on the dream car behind him. But little girls or women with amorous feelings have burning eyes, constantly wandering around Luo Wen's slender figure and impeccable handsome face. As for the Spark car that Luo Wen introduced, they glanced at it and sighed it's so beautiful, and then they didn't pay much attention to it. The Spark car has a built-in assisted driving system that can replace manual operation in all aspects. This function has been filed with relevant departments and is insured by major insurance companies. Everyone can buy it with confidence, including consumers who do not have a driver's license. After identity authentication, the Spark car will refuse manual operation by drivers who do not have a driver's license. What? Does that mean that Spark Auto has achieved the nationally certified full automatic driving? Luo Wen's introduction was extremely simple, without deliberate exaggeration or so-called incomprehensible professional terms. He was just like an ordinary person, speaking ordinary words quietly. The model behind me is a regular version, priced at 100,000 yuan. Our company will not provide any additional installation services, nor will it charge any fees other than the selling price. The regular version and the high-end version both provide a 10-year warranty service with unlimited kilometers and a half-price recycling service after 10 years. The top-end version provides a 20-year full vehicle warranty and a half-price recycling service after 20 years. Oh my god, the boss of Spark Technology is too exaggerated, and he speaks so domineeringly. Not only did he break all the unspoken rules of the new car sales market, but he also wanted to take over the second-hand car market. The key is the minimum 10-year full vehicle warranty service, and it is a new energy vehicle. Which company dares to boast so much? Mr. Luo is awesome. Mr. Luo is awesome. Mr. Luo is domineering. Mr. Luo is mighty. Inside and outside the sales center, even in front of the computer screen, the fans were so happy that they could not express it in words, and their palms were almost red from clapping. In the quiet and closed small exhibition hall, Luo Wen's mouth corners could not help but slightly rise. Obviously he also heard the cheers and thunderous applause outside. The regular version and the high-end version are available in 7 colors: pearl white, night black, vitality orange, sky blue, charm red, fluorescent green, and noble purple. The top version will also provide 2 additional colors: dreamy gradient and aurora starry sky. Of course, these colors are not charged extra and are included in the price. Oh, the surprises continued. Luo Wen broke the potential rules of the existing automobile market, so he naturally didn't mind breaking more. The 3 versions of Spark car are different from the fuel cars and new energy cars currently on the market. Its maintenance items have been reduced a lot, or in other words, it basically does not need maintenance. The self-cleaning super hydrophobic fiberglass does not require wipers or windshield washer fluid. The electromagnetic force field will keep the entire car protected by a dust and dirt prevention system at all times, including rain, which will be blocked at a height of 1 centimeter from the car glass. The entire body is made of nano memory alloy, and it will automatically repair itself in the event of a slight collision or severe deformation. Shocking details and new functions, as Luo Wen narrated, made the spectators stare with wide eyes, indicating some indigestion. Because of the anti-gravity system, the brakes are also achieved through the anti-gravity module. The tires of the car will be swept into the garbage dump of history forever. The modular body structure has fewer mechanical connections, and even no pipelines exist. Naturally, maintenance is no longer needed. In terms of environmental protection, Spark Technology will not lag behind. No maintenance is required, no tires, the body deformation will automatically recover, and the electromagnetic force field prevents dust and dirt. This is not a Spark car, it is simply a collection of black technology. The various systems and functions of Spark Auto will be explained by staff after the customer pays. By the way, if the payment is made on the same day, the car can be picked up on the same day. Free license plate service will be provided at the sales center. Because of the assisted driving, 2 types of license plates will be provided: normal license plates and automatic driving license plates, depending on whether the buyer has a driver's license or not. The former is the responsibility of the owner's own manual operation, and the latter is automatic driving, and Spark Technology is responsible for vehicle violations. What? Spark Technology can unilaterally provide 2 types of license plates, and they are free. The key is, why do people who choose automatic assisted driving license plates have more benefits than car owners who drive themselves? Picking up the car on the same day. This news is even more jaw-dropping and incredible. Chapter 364, Becoming Famous. Hello, can I meet your Mr. Luo? Oh, no, the head of the sales department will do. I'm the purchasing director of Jisoo Travel. I want to talk to your company leaders about the purchase of large orders. The middle-aged man in a suit and tie was accompanied by a professional woman with a briefcase, who seemed to be his assistant or something like that. Jisoo Travel is also one of the popular travel companies that have recently received capital investment. They are in a stage of rapid expansion. Due to the company's business philosophy of self-operation and self-management, purchasing reliable and high-quality new cars is indeed related to their subsequent development. Oh, okay, please come with me to the conference room first. I will notify our director Cheng. The smiling female employee of Spark Technology found someone to take over her position, and then called Cheng Shia, who was in another position, on her personal work terminal, while extending her hand to lead the big customer to the conference room. Around the circular service counter, there was still a crowd of people. They were accompanying the salesperson, rushing to get the car purchase contract, wanting to complete the car purchase by swiping the card as soon as possible. Even if the young Spark Technology staff repeatedly persuaded them to sit in the rest area and wait, they still couldn't stop their eagerness, couldn't sit still for a second, and couldn't suppress their excitement. They had to witness the car purchase process from beginning to end with their own eyes. Haha, I'm going to drive a new self-driving car back today. I want to show it to my friends and make them envious. Can the front be faster? We can't wait. In the bustling hall, people finally began to drive brand new Spark cars out of the delivery workshop at the back door, and the staff who strictly controlled the number of people entering the store also began to invite people who were sitting and waiting to enter according to the order of the wristbands issued. Infinitely streamlined car purchase steps. Confirm the car purchase contract, sign, swipe the card, go to the delivery experience area to queue up, and there will be trained staff to invite them to get in the car for experience, as well as system function descriptions, and complete identity authentication and binding, and finally drive out along the spacious exit. Some of the anxious ones did not wait for the staff to invite them to get on the car and give them explanations. They got on their beloved cars with their file bags, started identity authentication and binding directly, and then authorized autopilot. They ran directly to the main road outside to experience it slowly. Every half an hour, hundreds of colorful new cars, carrying happy owners or a few shouting passengers, left very smoothly. In the large Spark Industrial Park, new Spark cars are constantly rolling off the production line in the automated workshop, and then sent to the underground garage to wait for the car pickup instruction from the sales center. Delivering about 500 new cars every hour is too slow for those consumers who are eager to buy, and Spark Technology seems to have realized this problem. There are already staff members, young, enthusiastic, and serious brothers and sisters holding purchase contracts and personal work terminals, who came to the waiting area outside the sales center to register and introduce the instructions. Dozens of quiet and silent Spark cars were also driven to the parking lot outside as exhibition cars for everyone to experience and visit. At this time, the delivery speed was more than doubled. In the basement of Spark Technology Park, 100,000 new cars produced in advance were also transported to the sales center at a very fast speed. The slow production workshop also accelerated its operation speed to ensure that the parking lot has sufficient inventory at any time to cope with the crazy sales outside. The regular version, high-end version, and top-end version are also constantly updating the production ratio of various models and colors in the production workshop according to the real-time data of the sales center. The suppliers of Spark Technology Company also began to replenish raw materials to the warehouse of the industrial park, such as various metals, chemical raw materials, and silicon materials. What they sent was not semi-finished products or finished products, but the most basic raw materials, because Spark Technology still needs to reprocess nano memory alloys, super hydrophobic coatings, high-strength fiberglass, synthetic fabrics, carbon crystal semiconductors, chips. These technologies and products are all confidential to Spark Technology Company. It is impossible for suppliers in the market to provide quality control and production efficiency. Luo Wen also believes that under the control of artificial intelligence Spark, he can be completely assured and responsible for the trust of customers. Boss, since the market reaction is so intense, why not push the fusion reactor to the civilian market? The civilization level of the main world will inevitably rise to a new stage. Why only launch the ordinary carbon crystal battery version of the Spark car? At 12 noon, the sales center has begun to provide free lunch to customers. The voucher is the bracelet received at the store. Of course, if someone doesn't mind the trouble and wants to come for a meal, Spark Technology doesn't care about this little money. Customers who receive the bracelet for free and come to eat and drink for more than 30 days instead of buying Spark cars will be recorded in the central computer database and added to the customer blacklist of Spark Technology. The smart people who lose more than the gain will understand the horror of this blacklist in the future. In the complex building in the center of the Spark Science and Technology Park, a 10-story building covering an area of 10,000 square meters, Luo Wen sat quietly in his office. He had just come back from the cafeteria after lunch and confirmed that the customer meals sent to the sales center were not cut corners by the cafeteria manager. He nodded with satisfaction and left. In the spacious, simple, sci-fi-style office, a voice with a soft tone is discussing the launch of the Spark car with Luo Wen. Spark has gradually shifted to a female orientation, and Luo Wen has slowly accepted this fact. Hey, Spark, didn't you record the entire video call between me and the government's top leaders? Why are you asking me this question? Yes, I know you have reached a cooperation agreement with the government to ensure that the Spark reactor will not be easily launched in a civilian version, but isn't this the consensus reached before? The current international situation is not favorable to our Xia country, and you, the boss, are fully capable of dealing with all challenges. Why should you be afraid of violating the agreement with the Xia government? After all, isn't your original intention to quickly improve the civilization level and technological level of Blue Star? There was even an anthropomorphic tone of doubt in her voice. This increasingly real Spark artificial intelligence also made Luo Wen sigh, wondering whether he should tell her his plan. Xinghuo, what you said makes sense, but everything requires a process. Although my starting point is for Blue Star, it is also for all mankind. However, I need not only the Xia people, but also more ethnic groups to join us in going to the starry sky and using racial diversity to cope with the unknown future. So, we can be radical, but we must also give ordinary people a process of adaptation, rather than letting them be at a loss and directly make crazy moves that I don't want to see. It's still too early for the civilian version of the Xinghuo reactor. Oh, I see, boss. Xinghuo will continue to optimize the intelligent core to better provide help and advice to the boss. Haha, Luo Wen didn't say anything else, but watch the real-time sales data of the central computer. In 3 hours, 11,651 Xinghuo cars had been sold, with a revenue of 2.151 billion. A small half of them were individual customers, and a large half were large customer orders. There is actually no difference between the two. The selling price is the same, but large customers mostly purchase autonomous driving license plates, while individual customers have both ordinary license plates and autonomous driving license plates. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 365, Global Sensation. Ding, Xiaguo Bank salary arrival reminder, this month's income. Ding ding buzzing sound is endless. Spark Technologies salary is paid on the 1st of every month. Yes, it is the 1st. And those female employees who are still taking lunch breaks or secretly watching Luo Wen's face video also instantly became energetic, took out their personal terminals, and checked their income last month. Employees' wages are divided into 8 levels, and 5 insurances, and 1 housing fund are paid at the maximum. Each month's personal income is composed of basic salary, performance, bonus, and various subsidies. 18 salaries are paid every year, and the extra 6 salaries will be paid on the last day of the holiday before the new year. Together with the year-end bonus, this is also a very considerable income. After all, after 1 year of employment, they will be automatically promoted to level 2 employees, and after 1.5 years, they will be level 3 employees. The basic salary of level 3 employees is 40,000, which is equivalent to only taking wages. They will earn 720,000 a year. If they can pass the promotion assessment and be promoted to a higher level, I'm afraid that the income will be even more amazing. Wow, I got a bonus of 10,000 this month, and a total of more than 20,000 or almost 30,000. How much do you have? Me too. Most of the employees have been working for the company for only 3 months, and only a few are new employees who have joined recently. Oh, I envy you so much. You joined the company ahead of schedule. By the time you've been here for a year, you'll be a level 2 employee. I've only been here for a month, but I also make more than 20,000, which is higher than my income from my previous joint venture. Zhang Wei, how about it? The salary has been paid. Why don't we buy a Spark car after work? The Chinese New Year is coming soon. It will be so face saving if we drive it back for blind dates. Haha, brotherly, I want to wait a little longer. The year-end bonus and 6th salary will be paid in 2 days. I estimate it will be at least 100,000. I've saved some before, and with some support from my family, I want to buy a high-end version just for fun. Every employee who can join Spark Technology is extremely honored and proud, and they are full of confidence in their future work and growth. Unless the blue planet explodes, they plan to work here for the rest of their lives. TSK, Wei, you are really good. No wonder you don't hang out with us and eat in the free cafeteria every day. It turns out that you saved all your money? Brotherly, you are laughing at me. Your family environment is much better than mine. I'm afraid that after get off work today, you are going to buy a high-end version? No. My dad told me to drive a top-end version directly back. He said that it was a blind date introduced to me. She recently returned from studying abroad and asked me to drive a luxury car to impress her family. Spark Technology has established the company, released the first Spark Assistant, and then rebuilt the Spark Industrial Park. Now it has released Spark Cars, Spark Personal Terminals, Carbon Crystal Batteries, Carbon Crystal Semiconductors. It seems that it has attracted worldwide attention, and attracted much attention and suspicion. Not to mention that this Xiaguo technology company, which has risen like the sun, has only been established for 3 months. Spark Technology must have inherited the legacy of alien civilization, or the Xia government must be behind the scenes. Otherwise, how could Luo Wen, who is too young, achieve such remarkable achievements and amazing results that shocked everyone by himself? Bang, book the fastest international flight for me and tell all the executives that we are now at a critical moment of life and death. If we cannot reach a cooperation with that Xia technology company, we will all go bankrupt and have nothing. Tell them to be alert and stabilize the company's situation. After watching the on-site visit video and various data of Spark automobile sent back by the representatives across the ocean, the senior executives of all automobile-related companies were shocked and terrified. Those who could keep calm were already thinking about going to Xia to discuss cooperation in person. Those who couldn't keep calm were half crazy and half mad at the shareholders meeting. Everything that happened in Xia was a scam, and it was all a science fiction animation deliberately made by the cunning Xia people. Go, and notify the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Xia country. I don't care what excuses you make. I want to see with my own eyes what that damn Spark Technology is trying to do. But Mr. President, it's still early in the morning. We sent a formal diplomatic note, and it will take Xia country 9 hours to reply to us. Then contact their embassy for me. Are you all good for nothings? Why don't you use your brains? This is the automobile industry. If the people know this news, they will definitely force me to step down. There will definitely be a large demonstration to protest against our sanctions and blockade of Spark Technology. Can you still show off with me? Damn it. Hiss, why is this happening? Didn't we agree to only build a super energy center? Why did Spark cars suddenly appear? Who should we sell our oil to after it is extracted? The people in white robes wearing gold and silver were stunned. They seemed to sense that something was wrong. Luo Wen and the top leaders of Xia State reached a secret agreement for all the business activities of Spark Technology. The local government departments cooperated to the greatest extent possible, such as the quantum communication network used by Spark personal terminals, and the autonomous driving license, and road driving rights. For example, Luo Wen made so many big moves, but no second generation ancestor dared to come up, and no department dared to deliberately trip up Spark Technology. A technology company with less than 10,000 employees. The area of the entire industrial park is as large as 25 square kilometers, and the large tracts of factory buildings are already very surprising. Those magnificent buildings buried deep underground, except for Luo Wen and artificial intelligence Spark, if known to the outside world, are enough to make people tremble and stay away from Spark technology. At 5 PM, the sales frenzy of Spark Auto continued. It even showed a trend of intensifying due to the appearance of the first batch of car owners. The entire national highway was full of prospective car owners who came to subscribe for new cars. Among the traffic, there were many car owners who changed their minds because of the upcoming spring festival, going home for the new year, blind dates, and 4S stores charging extra fees to pick up cars. Beep, beep. The traffic police with flashing lights were maintaining order so that the commuter bus of Spark technology could leave normally. And those prospective car owners who were thinking about it were also hesitant. They didn't know that the employees of Spark technology had started to get off work. If they lined up here, would they not be able to buy the surreal Spark Auto? Please obey the traffic order, line up to the parking lot to receive the bracelet, and complete the new car subscription according to the exact time on it. You don't have to wait at the gate all the time. Please obey the traffic order and line up. The patrolling police car was still playing the official statement. Obviously, the relationship between Spark technology and various departments and units in Jiangling district is also close, unlike ordinary companies. Oh, I almost forgot to explain that the nuclear fusion energy vehicle models provided by Spark technology will also be delivered to various departments in Haching as soon as possible in the coming time to complete the work of upgrading official vehicles. After that, they will be from Haching to Kaianhu province, and then to other provinces and cities in Xia country. Chapter 366 Identity changed. The production speed of ordinary automobile industrial parks is only calculated in minutes, such as 1 car per minute. Although Spark technology is not as exaggerated as calculating in seconds, its output in 1 hour is enough to be comparable to the output of a large enterprise in 1 month. It is not a single factory, but the kind of all factories combined. This is just the work that can be easily completed by the factories and workshops on the ground outside the underground base that a few people know about. Otherwise, it would be impossible to deliver official car orders to various provinces and cities on time while completing the delivery of ordinary customers. Highly integrated automated workshops, Spark automobiles lightweight and modular design. In addition to the raw materials provided by suppliers, the raw materials automatically mined by Spark Technology's underground base are the bulk of it. In order to conceal the truth, and not to break it at a single point, Luo Wen has done enough surface work. If someone really investigates it seriously, or suspects the secrets of Spark Technology, I'm afraid that Luo Wen does not need to target individuals or groups, and the Xia state officials will stop it for Spark Technology first. Of course, there are also those foreign forces that cannot be stopped. However, Spark Technology has already withdrawn from the international market. What they say is nothing more than jealousy and hatred. What bad influence can it have on Luo Wen and Spark Technology? At this stage, what Spark Technology needs to change is the Xia country, where it is based. As for the foreign countries, how they choose is their business. The general trend is unstoppable. All groups that dare to compete with the battleship of Spark Technology will be broken and shattered. There are always some external factors that are going to do something to Spark Technology. It's just that Spark Technology doesn't care at all. Apart from the domestic market, Luo Wen doesn't need outsiders to agree with his product concept or the values and cultural core of his company's operation. With the level 2 science and technology civilization core in hand, Luo Wen can easily synthesize materials. Many minerals and resources required by level 1 civilization can also be replaced by substitutes. In the vast underground base, every day, it can produce all the industrial needs of ordinary people in Xia country, and even food factories are also cultivating categories. After Luo Wen determines which ones are acceptable, he will also put them on the market for sale. Compared with so-called smartphones, full-screen computers, and super production tools, a Spark personal terminal directly beats all electronic products. It has amazing battery life, complete functions, and a huge software library. Whether it is for personal use or as a work tool, it has amazing performance and the price is ridiculously low. Just because of this, Countries and regions outside Xiaguo have been boiling with public resentment, and several large-scale protests have taken place. Falling behind means being beaten. Individuals and enterprises need to be efficient, not just to pursue the latest technological products, to satisfy their own needs and desires, and to keep up with the times. Quantum communication fields without delays, extremely cheap communication costs, high confidentiality. Communication is not restricted by terrain and space, and there are also a huge amount of personal and industrial software, built-in smart assistants, which can allow everyone who uses personal terminals to feel the convenience and efficiency brought by technological changes, mainly because of its low cost. The top-of-the-line personal terminal is only 5,000 yuan. 5,000 yuan? How many companies need to spend hundreds of dollars to activate a genuine operating system? For those slightly more professional industrial software, the monthly usage fee is calculated in tens of thousands. Now, you can use it for free by just purchasing the Spark Personal Terminal. No, that's not quite accurate. It should be said that it is within the monthly rental fee of 99 yuan. However, compared with tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions, isn't this just rounding off, equivalent to free? With the Spark Personal Terminal, the cost of buying a TV, a computer, a tablet, and a mobile phone can all be saved. Even the top-end version of the Spark Personal Terminal is priced at less than half the price of the flagship smartphones on the market. The changes it brings, and its impact on all walks of life will slowly penetrate, and finally the quantitative change will lead to qualitative change, so that individuals and companies that cannot use such advanced technology products will be left far behind. A Spark Personal Terminal is still fermenting. The official launch of Spark Car is like a deep sea bomb. No, it is a comet with a long tail, which directly overturned the roofs of developed countries that were making wishful calculations, and let the oppressive feeling of fear and death crisis hang directly over their heads, leaving them with no power to resist, and no time to react. On February 3rd, the noisy Spark Technology Industrial Park became silent. The factories on the ground have been cut off from water and electricity, and the doors and windows have been sealed because the company will be on holiday from tomorrow. The delivery work of the sales center will not stop because the Spark Personal Terminal has launched the Spark Car app. Prospective car owners across the country can complete the purchase and use of the car on it. 10,000 cars are delivered every day. The reservation number is valid for 24 hours. If the number is exceeded, it will not be available. Rebooking is required. The above will notify the subsequent prospective car owners to come to pay and pick up the car according to the real-time delivery progress, generally 72 hours in advance. Moreover, during the Spring Festival holiday, except for the delivery workshop, all other areas of the sales center will be closed. There is no manual service provided. Prospective car owners who come here will complete the operation step by step under the intelligent voice prompts. The parking lot outside the door also has enough space for new car owners to test drive. At this time, all employees of the sales center have completed the inspection work, sealed their personal work terminals, and began to report to the lobby of the comprehensive building by department according to the notice sent by the company. There are piles of New Year gift boxes and New Year red envelopes prepared by Luo Wen personally. At around 12 noon, everyone received the notification of the arrival of the year-end bonus and 6 salaries. Although everyone is a new employee who has just joined the company this year, Luo Wen still distributes it according to the standard of 18 salaries, and everyone has known this news for a long time. As for the year-end bonus, it is a unified amount of 100,000. Everyone's face is excited about Mr. Luo's generosity and is full of happy and excited expressions. Hello, Mr. Luo. Well, Happy New Year. I wish you all to make further progress and everything goes well in the coming year. After all the staff from each department arrived, Luo Wen would take a group photo with everyone in the center. If there were more people, he would take the next batch. Anyway, there were only 101 people in one photo. One was Luo Wen, and 100 were the employees who kept rotating. After taking the group photo, everyone's personal terminal would receive a holographic film, and then the heads of each department, who were full of joy, would give the employees gift boxes and a small red envelope of 1,000 yuan. Now Mr. Luo and I are finally in the same frame. I finally got what I wanted. The next time I see Mr. Luo, I'm afraid it will be after the Lantern Festival. Oh, yes, I used to think that the New Year holiday was too short when I was in other companies. Isn't it a bit too long to suddenly take 23 days? Oh, just be content. The company is so good to us. The paid vacation is almost a month. What else are you dissatisfied with? I can't bear to leave you, my sisters. Haha. The year-end bonus is a Spark car, and now the holiday starts so early. There are also New Year gift packages, and a big cash red envelope privately sent by Mr. Luo. I'm sure anyone would be grinning from ear to ear, and would be reluctant to leave the Spark Technology Industrial Park, right? Chapter 367. Don't judge a person by appearance. Spark Technology started the holiday in advance, but there is still a week before the Spring Festival. Now that Spark automobile is very popular, the daily sales are even more jaw-dropping. However, this high-tech company, which is abnormal in everything, has launched an automatic delivery program just to let employees take a long holiday to go home for the Spring Festival. Not to mention that the operation of Spark Technology has caused controversy and curiosity from all walks of life. How can you give employees a year-end holiday like this? It is 20 days at a time, and it is paid. After working for 3 months, the remaining 6 salaries for the whole year are made up at once. The most ordinary employee's year-end bonus is 100,000. How should other companies and other units deal with it, and how should they explain it to their workers? In addition, everyone in Spark Technology was told to take a holiday in advance and to pay 6 salaries. They all looked incredible. Isn't it said that capitalists are vampires who knock out the marrow and suck blood and squeeze all the surplus value of workers? Why does Spark Technology, founded by Luo Wen, give money and holidays as if he wants all employees to do less work and get more money? Such a boss is rare in Xiaguo, and even rare in the world. Sharing adversity and wealth together, such noble character is already highly respected by the world. And how come I haven't encountered such a good thing as Luo Wen, who has not shared adversity, but directly gives money generously? Those who are fortunate enough to join Spark Technology feel that their life circumstances are so different. Those who have relatives and friends who are employees of Spark Technology are full of envy and sigh beyond words. As for whether there is jealousy or other thoughts in their hearts, it is unknown. Spark Technology has an amazing size. As of 9 AM on February 4th, that is, 72 hours after the sales center was officially opened, a total of 89,747 Spark cars were delivered through personal sales and large customer orders, with a total revenue of 13.747 billion yuan, which does not include those that have not been shipped out and paid for. And this is only the sales data of Spark Auto, which has just been on the market for 3 days. Limited by the uniqueness of the delivery center, Spark Technology has no plan to open direct stores or cooperative dealers in other provinces and cities, so the number of customers who have made appointments on the Spark Auto app has exceeded 2 million, and it is still rising. Those who want to pick up the car before the new year are probably only a small part, and more will have to wait until after the new year. In other words, the sales volume of Spark Auto released by Spark Technology may break the various historical records created by auto giants in a short period of time, as long as the problem of slow delivery is solved. Moreover, Spark Technology is a private enterprise that is 100% owned by Luo Wen. It has no obligation to publish financial reports, nor does it need to publicize its company's cash flow. It is not only because of the low-key company policy, but also because the net profit margin of each product of Spark Technology exceeds 50%. Luo Wen does not want to expose his cards, nor does he want to attract more attention. So for Spark Technology, how much cash flow they have now, how huge their production capacity is, the outside world has no way to know except for constant discussion and speculation. The sales data is stored in the central computer of the Spark official website, and even the most powerful hackers cannot break it. There are no authorized dealers, no cooperative sales channels, no cooperation with e-commerce platforms, and even the tax bureau has a special department to be responsible for Spark Technology's taxation, direct sales, cash flow sales. Everything is a mystery. Not to mention that in addition to Spark Automobile, Spark Personal Terminal, Carbon Crystal Battery, Carbon Crystal Semiconductor, Spark System, Spark Technologies sales revenue is currently the real big head. Dad, Mom, I've made an appointment with someone and will be going with my family and relatives. You can just relax and enjoy yourself. What's there to be embarrassed about? Yes, Dad, Mom, Zhang Yu and I are both working in my brother's company. Now that we have the New Year holiday, let's just treat it as a family trip and go out and have some fun together. On the morning of the 4th, the brothers Luo Wen and Luo Wu, as well as Zhang Yu, who looked eager, were trying to persuade Luo Deke and Ren Gixiang to go to Quancheng for a day tomorrow. No, it should be tonight and tomorrow night. Luo Wen showed his face for the first time to unbox the Spark car. Now, there are not many people in the world who don't recognize Luo Wen or don't remember his impressive face unless they are in some backward regions and countries that are blocked from information and are struggling on the line between life and death. Oh, no, Wenzi, you are the boss of a big company now, and you are all young people. If your dad and I go with you, it will embarrass you. You, Wuzi, and Xiao, just go and have fun by yourselves. Your dad and I have just finished answering calls from relatives these days. There are still many things to prepare for the new year. We are too busy to have time to go out and play. Haha, Ren Gixiang and Luo Deke both had relieved expressions on their faces. Their eldest son has achieved such great success and achieved such amazing results. For them as parents, their children care about them in their hearts, which is the greatest filial piety and comfort. After most of their lives, they are old and finally see the day when their children have a promising future. Compared to Luo Wen taking them home to take care of them in their old age, or Luo Wen's extraordinary move, he has a bank card with hundreds of millions of dollars and a luxury car and mansion at home. Ren Gixiang and Luo Deke are undoubtedly more proud and happy about Luo Wen's current success. Uncle, aunt, you can go together. It's only one day and one night. Big brother has reserved the hot spring villa. If there are too few people, it will be a waste. It's not too late to continue after returning. Aren't we still here to help? By the way, big brother wants to invite people from the village to go together. Only uncle and aunt can go. It's more lively with more people. He, born in the countryside, Zhang Yu's mind is undoubtedly more careful and considerate. No wonder people often say that daughters are the sweet cotton padded jackets of their parents, and why Luo Wen's parents like girls so much. Probably this is the reason. Zhang Yu's words undoubtedly touched the hearts of the two old people. Luo Wen has achieved results, so of course he should celebrate it well. Besides, such a good opportunity to show his face may not come often in the future. Then Luo, how about this? It's the child's good intention after all. Besides, the money has been spent. It would be a waste if we don't go. Let's go. Let's go. What's there to be embarrassed about? It's not like you are going to give a speech on stage. It's just going out to soak in the hot springs. Let's go. The whole family will go together. Haha. Luo finally made the decision. Obviously, he was also very excited. He had wanted to agree a long time ago, but he had not spoken up to take care of Ren Gixiang's concerns. Haha, then let's go. I'll call Wen's aunt and uncle. Luo, you go contact aunt and others. We'll go to the village and talk together later. Since they decided to go, Luo Wen's mother no longer hesitated. She couldn't help but start to arrange Luo Wen's father. And Luo Wen also smiled slightly. Finally there was no regret this time. Xiao, Wuzi, you stay with your parents first. I'll call and ask if those employees who left early have arrived. The bus should be here soon. Luo Wen was generous this time. Not only did he notify employees who did not go home for the time being through the company's internal channel, but also employees from Lake City and Quan City could sign up for a vacation at the hot spring resort. He also directly paid out of his own pocket to book the entire resort hotel for 3 days, and all the expenses for food, drink, and entertainment were paid by him. Chapter 368, The Sea is Impossible. Whoosh, there is no roar of the engine, no squeaking of the tires rubbing against the ground, only the silent airflow, and the sound of the wind passing through the air quickly. Spark Technology has replaced its commuter bus with a brand new one. The same silver grey color scheme, the same streamlined dream body, and the new anti-gravity bus that can carry 42 people at a time. Driving on the road not only makes the employees of Spark Technology sitting on it feel proud and complacent, but also makes them smile with joy. Those passers-by with surprised eyes seem to have seen such a high-tech vehicle for the first time, as if it came from the future world. However, this seems to be the anti-gravity technology that only Spark Technology has, right? But I haven't heard that anyone has bought such a bus. Could it be that this is a special bus for Spark Technology? All the BMW series in Luo Wen's family were sold to second-hand car dealers in advance. Luo Wen offered a very low price, as if he was giving it away for free. The car he is driving now, as well as the car that Luo Wu bought for Zhang Yu, are all driven by Luo Wen, and the top-end version of the Spark car automatically follows behind. In fact, it is a customized version specially prepared by Luo Wen, but the appearance is the same as the top-end version, but the interior is replaced with a spark reactor, and the functional modules are also very different. Loading the Spark artificial intelligence program, you can turn on the energy shield at any time to protect the passengers in the car. Luo Wen saw his parents' hesitation, and finally after last night's soft and hard persuasion, he was finally persuaded by Zhang Yu today. Then he drove his Spark car out and headed to the urban area of Jiangling district, because Wen Kaiang and her daughter, as well as his other 2 female employees, are all tourists on this hot spring trip. Wherever Luo Wen's car passed, the envious and surprised eyes along the way were probably all real this time. Unlike Luo Wen's previous Black Warrior, people would only say show off, rich man, and all those who can buy Spark cars are labeled as lucky and patriotic. Wow, uncle, this car is so cool. The interior space of the entire Spark car is extremely amazing. The traditional central armrest box and instrument panel are cancelled, the milky white eggshell wrapped seats, and the front seats can be rotated separately. On the flat platform, a nano metal table with slightly raised sides and higher than the central table can be raised from the bottom to prevent splashing. All the decorations in the car have a super hydrophobic coating and are also insulated and anti-slip. The entire interior space is extremely spacious, and the front trunk and rear trunk have sufficient storage capacity. It can even display 360-degree real-time images outside the car, just like the half skylight mode set by Luo Wen at this time, which allows the people in the car to see the scenery above and around their heads very clearly. The warm sunshine is like a substance, shining on everyone's happy and excited face. However, the Spark car, which is like a hole, is wrapped in metal except for the windshield. Such a strange view inside the car is really hard to believe that this is real modern technology. You are amazing, boss. You are a very capable person. I thought you were just the boss of our clothing store, but you are also the founder of Spark Technology. Boss, can you take a photo with me so I can post it on WeChat Moments? Please? The chattering little round-faced girl is Wang Yumeng, a new employee who has just joined the company. As the big boss of Zhuan Studio, Luo Wen naturally cannot favor one over the other. This time, for the trip and vacation, even for the salary and benefits, Luo Wen also made the decision to treat Fan Jiaying and Li Yumeng the same as the employees of Spark Technology. Wen Kaiang, who was sitting in the co-pilot seat, although the seats were rotated so that everyone was sitting face to face, she looked at Luo Wen from time to time with shock and surprise. Perhaps there was also a trace of luck. If she hadn't met Luo Wen by chance at the door of the store, she might not know where she is living now, and how difficult it would be for her to raise Yaya alone. There were many snacks on the table in the middle. Yaya, who had taken off her leather boots and was wearing a pair of plush socks, crawled back and forth under the care of her 2 sisters, looking particularly excited. Yaya, sit down and don't move around in the car, or your mother will be angry. Oh, okay. With a pout, the little girl sat back in the middle seat obediently. Luo Wen also moved a little closer to Wang Yumeng and took a photo with his head tilted up 45 degrees. Boss, you've already taken a photo with Yumeng, so one more photo with me won't be a problem, right? Fan Jiaying blinked her eyes eagerly, with a look of desire and eagerness. Luo Wen had no choice but to cooperate and become a tool man. Luo Wen was always gentle and harmless to the own people around him. In addition to responding to requests, he did not have the airs of a big boss or the indifference of keeping people at a distance. Oh, why weren't you as excited as today when you saw him before? Just because Ahem became the boss of Spark Technology, you are obsessed with him? Huh. The distance between him and me is getting farther and farther, and the gap is getting bigger and bigger. Although she knows that this is impossible, Wen Qiang still feels lost occasionally, especially when Luo Wen is really good to Yaya, as if she has an illusion that if boss lady, this is only one aspect. The main thing is that the big boss has raised our salary and given us year-end bonuses. Now he takes us out to play. Our boss is so handsome. Of course I have to be his fan. Haha. Wang Yumeng is a straightforward person. Although she has only been working for a short time, she quickly integrated into Ziwen's studio and has a very close and friendly relationship with Yaya. Although she is sometimes simple-minded, it is precisely because of this that she can easily gain the trust of customers and get along well with strangers. Fan Jiaying, the old employee in the store, also likes Wang Yumeng, who is cute and speaks boldly. They get along well with each other and feel that they have met too late. Okay, I'm going to pick up the others. Do you want to take the bus with me or just sit here and meet up in Quanqing later? The eye-catching Spark car quietly hovered on the street, forming a very strong visual contrast with those dusty traditional cars that rely on tires and fuel. Similarly, a much larger Spark bus also seemed to have stopped here one step ahead. The people around were looking around in amazement. Some took photos and some posted videos on their mobile phones. It seemed that they were honored to be in the same picture with such a dream car, and their mood became excited. Click, with a slight sound, the front door of the bus retracted into the body of the bus. Wow. The onlookers exclaimed in amazement, wondering how the door suddenly opened, and in such a rare and cool way. Dong dong, dong dong. It seemed that the heater was on in the car. A young man in a sweater walked down from the driver's seat. Although he was a commuter bus driver, the company had already given him a holiday. In fact, he was not working, but because he happened to live in the city, he signed up for a hot spring vacation and was the first to get on the bus with his girlfriend. It was a professional habit, so he sat in the driver's seat unconsciously. The bus was set to fully automatic driving, and even the steering wheel was not activated. The driver was just a decoration. Mr. Luo, you are here. Haha. Zhangchun, why don't you just sit on it? Why did you run down? After Luo Wen got off the bus, his car carrying Wen Qiang and the others automatically started to drive to Quanqing Hot Spring Villa. Perhaps to avoid unnecessary trouble, or perhaps because they felt that Luo Wen had something to arrange, they finally chose to take the private exclusive bus. Luo Wen's appearance made the onlookers speechless with surprise. It's Luo Wen, the boss of Spark Technology. Oh my god, it's real. Come and see. Luo Wen is alive and well. Click, click. Boss Luo, get in the car first, or else more and more people will gather and something bad will happen. Zhangchun didn't see anything that Luo Wen needed his help with, but he saw that the boss's car seemed to have taken someone away. He didn't know if the person sitting inside was his girlfriend or his family. In short, although the boss's affairs are worthy of everyone's attention, we must also be careful. For example, now on both sides of the street, there is a sudden surge of people, some taking out their phones, some calling their friends. Click, Zhangchun and Luo Wen got on the bus with smiles on their faces. The front door of the bus closed, and the noise outside could no longer be transmitted into the car. Oh, by the way, Mr. Luo, this is my girlfriend Liwana. Wana, this is Mr. Luo, the boss of our company. Hello, sit down, you're welcome. We are all tourists out for fun today. There's no need to be so restrained, just be casual. Hello, Mr. Luo. Oh, okay. Luo Wen waved his hand, motioning to the young girl in a white woolen sweater sitting in the co-pilot seat not to be nervous. He also found a seat and sat down. Whoosh, the personal terminal on his wrist was awakened, and the address book list was projected. Following Luo Wen's line of sight, he directly selected the person he wanted to call. At the same time, the sound wave sensor began to calibrate Luo Wen's ears to facilitate his conversation. Different sensors can be used in different scenarios and for different groups of people. For example, the more efficient brainwave communication allows people to communicate directly without speaking. However, in the bus, it is easy for people to misunderstand that Luo Wen is closing his eyes, which seems a bit impolite. In addition, the sound wave sensor and the visual capture sensor can allow the hearing impaired to overcome the barrier of hearing defects and achieve barrier-free communication in the true sense. Perhaps in the near future, Luo Wen will continue to release other types of black technology, such as nano-medical warehouses for limb regeneration and body function repair, and weather controllers that change the entire area, and so on. Hello, Luo Jen. Oh, you're here. Yes, Zixi and I are about to call you. We'll be out of the community soon. Okay, let's talk when we meet. Zhang Kai and Yihan greeted their parents openly this time. The two young girls happily carrying solid color backpacks were speeding up their pace to go outside. Unlike the last time, they ran out secretly, and Luo Wen was blamed afterwards. Although it was Luo Wen again this time, their parents said nothing, or wanted to say something, but hesitated and didn't know where to start. Things are different now. The rich second generation they originally thought of obviously looked down on Luo Wen. As for the pure friendship between the two girls and Luo Wen, parents can no longer doubt anything. In fact, they think it would be great if it can be maintained forever. Click. The two girls invited by Luo Wen came to the bus. Before they could open their mouths to express their feelings, the door opened automatically. Luo Wen inside was smiling and waving at them to get on the bus first. Brother Luo. Hello, Brother Luo. It's been so long since we last met. Have you grown prettier? We have to leave. There are too many people here. We'll talk on the way. Oh, Brother Luo, where did you study this? Never mind. We accept your compliment. Are we going to pick up Sister Qiyu now? Yes, that's right. I called her yesterday. I thought she would be very busy recently, but she said she resigned and has been at home recently. Click. Whoosh. The turn signal was turned on, and after confirming that there were no vehicles coming from behind, the bus began to merge into the lane and silently began to speed up and drove away from this place of trouble. Oh, the bus has left. Yeah, I also told my friends to come and see this bus full of high-tech. TSK, loser. It's a pity that I haven't taken a photo with my brother Wen yet. Why did he just leave like that? Woo. Hey, did you say those two pretty girls who came later, are they employees of Spark Technology? They don't look like them. They are too young, like college students who haven't graduated yet. TSK. Who knows, maybe those girls are born with baby faces and look like this? Amid the discussions, the focus of concern was different, but the curiosity about Luo Wen and that super dreamy bus was the unchanging main theme. Chapter 369, A Glimpse of the Leopard. Here, Sister Qiyu, we are here. The real-time display on the bus was too realistic, making Zhang Kai and Yihan, who were cheering, mistakenly think that Qiyu, who was stunned outside the car, could hear their shouts through the window, or see their gestures of waving and greeting. She was wearing a light yellow woolen coat that highlighted her figure, with a white woolen sweater underneath the open collar, and her plump and upright figure that made people imagine her legs were straight, and she was wearing a pair of tight light blue jeans and fur boots. It seemed that, because the weather was getting warmer, there was no need to use the bare leg artifact to keep warm. Of course, it could also be that today's trip was suitable for the unpretentious dressing style of the girl next door. Qiyu was carrying a women's leather backpack, looking forward to something in the direction of Jiangling district. She looked so pretty that every pedestrian who approached would stop and stare at her, until a surreal bus that caused panic among pedestrians drove over. Qiyu's eyes widened, expressing her extreme shock and suspicion. Could this be the tourist bus that Luo Wen mentioned? Haha, you guys can't hear Qiyu if you call her here. Luo Wen smiled and didn't say anything else. The other Spark Technology employees in the car just watched their boss get up from his seat, then walked out of the open back door and greeted the long-legged beauty with an outstanding appearance and figure. Qiyu, long time no see. Get in the car. We've been waiting for you. Oh, Luo Wen, it's really you. After not seeing each other for several months, Qiuya covered her red lips, still a little bit unbelievable. The more handsome and elegant man was the big boy she met on the minibus for the first time. He is now the founder of the greatest technology company in the world, with a huge influence that can change the world's industrial landscape. And she is just an unemployed vagrant whose company's business has declined sharply, and she can only be forced to resign. She only receives a pitiful basic salary of more than 1,000 yuan every month, has no sales commission, and has to stand stupidly at work every day. There is no hope of getting better in the future. What else can a salesperson like her do if she doesn't resign? Come on, get on the bus first. Xiaoyi and Zixi are waiting for you up there. Sister Qiuya, haha, we meet again. Yes, we missed you so much. I don't know when. Two petite girls squeezed out from Luo Wen's side. The aisle was obviously wide, but they had to squeeze with Luo Wen. I don't know if they missed Qiuya too much and were a little anxious, or if they wanted to tease Luo Wen on purpose. The three beautiful girls, big and small, chatted and sat in the last row of the bus, telling their own experiences and excitement. There were not many other passengers on the bus, including Zhang Jun and his girlfriend sitting in the driver's seat. There were only 18 people in total, basically all couples or families. Anyway, there was no limit on the number of people for the event, and most of the employees went directly to the holiday villa yesterday for 3 consecutive days. There were other tourist buses on the road today, not just this one. Everyone seemed to have reached some kind of tacit understanding, and they all took the initiative to sit in the front rows. Even the children at home watched and told them not to make noises. Luo Wen had a gentle personality and even took out snacks from his backpack for them. However, the label of boss on him still made people unconsciously afraid or respect him from the bottom of their hearts, for fear of leaving a bad impression and losing their good job. Luo Wen sat by the aisle of the second to last row, quietly listening to the joy of the three of them, and did not participate in it. In other words, there was an empty seat in the back row, and Luo Wen had no intention of sitting with anyone. He was still close, maintaining a proper distance. Oh, I really envy you too. You are still studying in a beautiful campus, unlike me, who can only go home early for the new year. As she spoke, Qiuya's mood returned to her previous low state. She also felt faintly that what she said was not for Yihan and Zhang Kan beside her, but for Luo Wen, who was leaning back in the seat with a refreshing smile on his side. That's right, Qiuya's forced resignation, if we talk about the reason, is really inseparable from Luo Wen. To be more precise, because of the successive big moves of Spark technology, many industries have been annihilated. She is a salesperson at a 4S store, and it is also an international luxury brand that is in its heyday and has amazing brand appeal. The monthly income is not low, and the working environment is also very satisfactory. As a result, Spark Technology put the information of Spark Automobile on its official website. From that day on, not to mention the potential customers or prospective car owners of their store, they all stopped paying for the car and entered the stage of holding money and watching. Not only the 3 luxury brands, but also the customers of high-end sports cars, mid to low-end car manufacturers are the same, holding their wallets tightly, waiting for the official release of Spark cars. Sales orders plummeted in vain. For a whole month, major vehicle manufacturers did not even dare to release the sales report of the month. Otherwise, the increasingly precarious sales data may make those remaining customers disappear. There have always been people who take advantage of others' misfortunes, and few loyal people, especially in the open commodity market. Those so-called brand fans, as long as there are better alternatives, will switch to the camp, abandon them like worn-out shoes, and even want to step on them a few times and turn over the accounts. Brand appeal can easily lead to a misunderstanding that no matter what product is marked with a brand logo, it can be sold at a premium and will be crazily sought after by the market. In fact, it is not the case. Brands are very careful about maintaining their brands. They have extremely strict management and control. Any product they launch is actually worth the money, whether it is the value of the product itself or the invisible professional service. It is not that they can sell brass as gold as long as they put the brand logo on it. They are not stupid, and neither are their customers. Among all the existing brands in the automotive products in the market, the three major luxury car camps dare to sell at a premium because their product strength is good, or consumers have no other choice. However, the emergence of Spark technology has extended its tentacles from system software to semiconductors, electronic products, communications, energy, and the automotive industry in a short period of time. Such a powerful multi-line combat capability, or the amazing and unfathomable background of technological content, bloated multinational companies, or the camp of developed countries that regard themselves as the world's hegemons, have no time to react, and they are beaten by Spark technology, which does not play by the rules, and has extraordinary efficiency. Just like the Spark car, which has only been officially launched on the market for 3 days, it has already delivered nearly 100,000 vehicles. The sales of the Spark personal terminal have approached 10 million since its launch. Carbon crystal semiconductors, carbon crystal batteries, and the National Cooperative Energy Storage Center have all been developed at a lightning speed, leaving the Zaire country's spectators overwhelmed, not to mention the huge industrial chains and international companies related to them. All that is left is a saying things have changed. Chapter 370 shows. Hey, Sister Qiu Yap, although you have lost your current job, don't you have brother Luo here? Hehe, Zhang Qian, who used to be a little introverted and shy, has grown into a very cute little beauty. It seems that, because of the increasingly familiar contact with everyone, the festive atmosphere of the approaching spring festival, and the wonderful mood of traveling together today, she has gradually become bolder, and speaks more naturally and relaxedly. Yes, a blessing in disguise. Brother Luo is the founder of Spark Technology. It would be great if you could work for his company. It's just right for your major. Sister Qiu Yap, you were engaged in car sales before. Now Spark car is so popular. Isn't it just the right time? Yi Han's free speech instantly made the joyful atmosphere here become a little subtle. Oh, yes, your brother Luo's Spark technology is incredible. Even a small car salesman like me can't do it anymore. A look with a little shame and resentment was projected on Luo Wen's side face. The owner of this look was Qiu Yap, who was smiling. Since she was picked up by Luo Wen last time, and was seen by the neighbors next door, she had been subjected to countless kind care. Even she herself felt that she should make it clear to Luo Wen, and have a legitimate relationship. As a result, since that day, Luo Wen seemed to have disappeared from her life. He replied to her messages very late, and declined several invitations, saying that he was too busy to have time. It is conceivable that for Qiu Yap at that time, she was the one who took the initiative to show her goodwill, but in return she was alienated, and did not respond. How could she not feel unhappy and resentful? Although Spark Technology later began to lay out the automotive industry, and Luo Wen's face video on the official website a few days ago was circulated everywhere, Qiu Yap now understood that Luo Wen was indeed busy, and not deliberately perfunctory her, which made the little flame in her heart, that had gradually dimmed burn again. However, unemployment and previous dissatisfaction finally made her see Luo Wen. Qiu Yap had talked about this topic with the two little sisters, but that guy was still indifferent, which made her stare at him fiercely from behind. Humph, it's you. You make others feel uncomfortable every day. It's you. You don't respond at all, like a piece of wood. You hurt me. You make me unable to sleep well, eat well every day. There is always a figure appearing in my mind. Qiu Yap. Luo Wen didn't know whether he felt her gaze or heard her worry. He suddenly turned around and called her, which made Qiu Yap flustered and at a loss. What's wrong? Her pretty face was slightly red, indescribably beautiful, and her face was inexplicably shy, which made Yi Han and Zhang Qian giggle. Although they lacked social experience, they were not unfamiliar with the love between men and women. Besides, Qiu Yap liked their brother Luo, which was an open secret known to everyone. If you don't mind, come to Xinghuo Technology after the Lantern Festival. I formally invite you. It happens that the town is not far from our company. You can live in your own home in the future. It's also good to spend more time with your family. Is this a response to my repeated overtures? Or is it just to introduce me to a job? Oh, forget about that for now. No matter what the purpose is, the employee treatment of Spark Technology is very desirable. Okay, then I'll be disrespectful, Mr. Luo. Haha. We have arrived at the destination of Quancheng Bayan Hot Spring Resort. Please take your luggage with you. In just half an hour, the bus took the group to a valley of green mountains and clear waters. Away from the hustle and bustle of the city, breathing the fresh and natural fresh air, and the water vapor with a faint smell of sulfur, all make people feel relaxed and happy, and every pore on the body is cheering. There is a special highway exit, and a 4-lane paved road extending from the national highway. This is the resort villa reserved by Spark Technology, where the Hot Spring Hotel under Bayan Group is located. This area belongs to the Hot Spring Resort area, and it is also the cluster of hot spring hotels with the most complete facilities and the most luxurious decoration in Quancheng. Usually, the ordinary package here is $12.88 per person, including food and accommodation, hot springs, and various hotel services. For Quancheng, a small 4-tier city, local residents rarely come to this place to consume, because the price is too expensive. The resort villa is mainly for receiving tourists from other places. Especially after the winter, this is the business here. Although it is particularly affected by seasonal changes, they can earn almost the annual income of ordinary hotels in just one winter. Luo Wen waved his hand and directly booked 3 days. This is when the hot spring hotel is in the peak season. The average unit price is calculated at 1,000 per person, and the full occupancy rate is 100%. This is 10 million, right? That's right. The hotels in the entire hot spring resort area can meet the needs of 10,000 people per day. In addition to the out-of-town employees who bought tickets early, most of the local people in Hucheng and the local employees in Quancheng of Xinghuo Technology Company have signed up for the vacation activities organized by the company with their relatives and friends. It's free, and they have time during the holidays, so why not? Like Luo Wen himself, didn't he arrange a few cars to pick up the villagers and his relatives? Although the total number of people counted was more than 8,000, which did not reach 100% occupancy rate, Luo Wen's price of 10 million per day would not be discounted because it was a fixed price for the package. Who told him to package, not to book? It's the same price for one person and 10,000 people. We are here, we are getting off the bus and going in. Mr. Luo, we'll get off first. Well, Oklahoma. Welcome to Bayan Hot Spring Resort. I'm the lobby manager here. Please go to the front desk to check in first. If you have any questions, you can always consult our hotel staff. The passengers on the bus began to greet Luo Wen, and then walked out of the back door. Some people were traveling with their families, and their things were all in a suitcase, and the luggage compartment doors on both sides of the bus were also opened automatically for passengers to take. In the huge parking lot, there were probably no less than 100 anti-gravity suspension buses like Luo Wen's, and some were driving here one after another. Some had no pickup tasks, and were in standby parking at this time. Some were getting off passengers, and the staff sent by the hotel led them to their respective hotel lobbies. It was a busy and lively scene. Yeah, it's my first time to take a hot spring bath in such a luxurious hotel. Let's go, Zixi. Easy, slow down. Brother Luo and sister Qiyu are still behind us. Carrying her backpack, Yihan pulled Zhangzi and rushed downstairs. Although they felt a little regretful and didn't know why their parents couldn't save face and missed such a good opportunity to relax, they couldn't care less. Since they came here to take a hot spring bath, of course they should go and see it first. Oh, they are not as familiar with these procedures as us. Let's go quickly, or people will say we are light bulbs. It turns out that Jihan's carefree personality hides a delicate and careful side. Of course, she may also want to use such actions to show that she has walked out of the state of mind of simple admiration for Luo Wen. Swish, and when Qiyu heard this, her face was flushed with heat again, and when she couldn't help but look at Luo Wen in the front seat, she found that he had caught up with the two cheerful little girls with his bag. Qiyu, don't be dazed. If you don't come, the bus door will be locked. Oh, wait for me. Qiyu stomped her feet in shame and annoyance, then spread her long legs, got off the bus, and chased after them. Chapter 371 Hot Spring Hotel. Hey, didn't your brother say he was going to pick someone up? Why hasn't he come yet? Luo Deke and Rengixiang, who were sitting in the hotel lobby, had already completed the check-in procedures. Now each of them was wearing a large bath towel, a colorful swimsuit and large swimming trunks, drinking juice and eating snacks, and their eyes kept patrolling the gate. Since they agreed, they should act decisively, change clothes, take things, and take the bus directly to the village. These are all employees of Luo Wen company. Wow, my eldest son is really promising. He makes money and knows how to care about his family and subordinates. He is worthy of being my good son. Oh, there are so many people. As the boss, my brother always has things to do and needs him to show up to arrange things. Let's go to the natural hot spring to feel it. What is the difference between this place and an ordinary large pool? Don't you think so? Are you? Hey, my aunt and uncle are coming out too. Mom, call my brother later in the hot spring pool. There are people coming and going, young and old, wearing winter coats or down jackets, who have just come in. There are also people like Luo Wu, Zhang Yu, and Luo Wen's parents, who have already changed into swimsuits and bath towels in the room, and are ready to go to the hotel pool entrance. Of course, unlike ordinary individual guests, these are employees of Spark Technology and their relatives. They can be regarded as own people who are somewhat unfamiliar with each other. The atmosphere is particularly warm and harmonious, and they will nod to show politeness when they meet. By the way, according to the general hotel facilities and the requirements for entering the hot spring pool, you should change clothes in the locker room and take the key card. Try to ensure the safety of personal finances and the privacy of guests as the principle. However, all employees of Spark Technology have a Spark personal terminal, and so do their families. It is just like a smart bracelet, extremely simple and extremely fitting. Dustproof and waterproof are naturally the most basic functions. After binding the payment function, all consumption in this hotel, whether it is buying swimsuits, snacks and drinks, or other goods and services that are not included in the package price, are extremely convenient. Just like Luo Wen himself, as soon as the Spark personal terminal was released, he gave one directly to his family and the villagers in the village. And the last time he went to see Yihan and Zhang Qian, he also gave the personal terminal to them as a gift. Just like Qiu Yap, who was reluctant to spend that money and was still using an Apple smartphone, now also wears a brand new silver grey bracelet on her wrist, which Luo Wen just gave her in the car. Luo Wen did not walk with his family, and he did not want to bring them psychological pressure or to attract more attention. Although all of them were employees of Spark Technology, there were nearly 9,000 people with their families. Who knows if there will be some flatterers or people with other thoughts and ideas. Since ancient times, money has moved people's hearts. As long as there is a matter of interest, there is never a lack of people who take the initiative. Luo Wen is still single, and Luo Wu and Zhang Yu are just ordinary employees who have joined the company normally. If they stand with Luo Wen, everyone knows that they are Luo Wen's boss's family. Who knows what will happen next? Will it be out of control, and all kinds of dramas will be staged in turn? Oh, has the big boss gone in with the others? Madam Boss, why don't we send him a message to ask? Xiao Ye, who was wearing a one-piece swimsuit, was sitting on the sofa wrapped in a bath towel, unable to move. She looked helpless and looked at Sister Fan Jiang for help. As a result, she did not wait for her to help, but just kept teasing Xiao Ye. Wang Yumeng, who was wearing a cool vest, took off her thick coat. Unexpectedly, she was still a sexy little beauty with considerable capital. Her fair skin was still rosy. Obviously, she was not only lively and cute, but also very healthy and well developed. This is not good. All the employees here are from his company. If we can't do it, we should go in first. Maybe he will come to find us later. When Qian was a little hesitant, especially when she heard that Luo Wen's family members were also here today. As a god sister, she was really nervous and didn't know whether she should show up to say hello. And under her nervous eyes, she couldn't tell which one of the people coming and going was Luo Wen's family. It was normal that she couldn't tell. Before she sat here, Luo Wen's parents just walked in with relatives. Oh, Uncle Luo, I see Uncle Luo. Hey, it's Ye, Yeezy. Ye is there. At the same time, Two young girls with backpacks on their backs also saw the cute little girl tied up in a bath towel and ran over excitedly. Hey, yeah, why are you so well behaved, sitting here and not coming down to play? I can't come down. Who are you? Mom, they are the beautiful sisters that Uncle Luo took me to meet last time. This is Sister Yeezy, and this is Sister Zixie. The little and smart Yaya stretched out her small pink fingers and introduced everyone happily. Oh, it turned out to be you. Thank you for taking care of Yaya last time. She must have caused you a lot of trouble. Sister, this is my mom. This is Sister Jiaying, and this is Sister Meng Meng. They were greeting each other and getting to know each other. Luo Wen at the back also brought Qiu Ya to the corner where the beauties gathered. Have you finished introducing everyone here? Yeah, Uncle will introduce you to another sister. She is Qiu Ya, and she is also Uncle's friend. Haha, hello, little friend. You are Yeah, right? I've heard people talk about you, saying that you are cute, and also very well behaved and sensible. The women, I don't know if it was because of Luo Wen's presence, each of them behaved brilliantly and generously. At least on the surface, they greeted each other politely and got to know each other. Nothing unpleasant or inappropriate happened. In other words, before Luo Wen revealed that he had a girlfriend, all the opposite sex around him would be cautious and would not leave any impression that would cause criticism or disgust Luo Wen. This has nothing to do with personal accomplishment. It's just a tacit fact and consensus among everyone. By the way, Sister Kaiang, you should take Yaya and the others in first. There's a lot of space here, but it's still a little cold even with the heater on. We'll come in after we change our clothes. Luo Wen looked at the protective jade token hanging around Yaya's neck, and then he made a suggestion with a lot of confidence. At the same time, he glanced at her charming curves wrapped in a bath towel without leaving any trace. Luo Wen didn't take the initiative to look at this. It was completely out of a man's instinct. His eyes couldn't help but turn to the figure of the opposite sex. He could only calm down and concentrate and not relax his control over his body instincts at all in order to stop such instinctive impulses. Damn it, I don't know if it's because the curves of those gorgeous women are too dazzling after entering, or the temperature and smell of the hot springs here are too easy for people to relax their bodies and minds unconsciously. Men and women have become much bolder, and even Luo Wen was stimulated to the point of blood rushing up and almost got into trouble. Oh, then we'll go in first and talk later. Swish, a woman's intuition is sometimes so accurate that it's frightening. Even though Wen Kaiang didn't see the unusual behavior on Luo Wen's face, she could feel that he was paying attention to her just now. Oh, it turns out that Wen doesn't dislike women, but he just hides his instincts too deeply. Her pretty face was flushed. Not only did Wen Kaiang not dislike Luo Wen because of this feeling, but she was inexplicably happy and excited. A stream of heat jumped from the soles of her feet and flip-flops directly to her chest and abdomen, and then to her heart. Women are really strange creatures. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 372, Dazzling Flowers. Gurgle, gurgle. The whole valley in the back mountain is dotted with jagged rocks, steam rising, and colorful hot spring pools. Some are large pools that can accommodate hundreds of people, while others are leisurely and elegant underwater falls. There are many kinds of hot springs, such as massage bathtubs, rose essential oil, osmanthus fragrance, natural hot springs, couple small hot spring pools, and children's baths. I'm afraid that, even if you soak in each pool for a minute or a few hours, you won't be able to experience them all. Rest pavilions, steam rooms, viewing platforms, lounges, toilets, towel changing cabinets, beverage supply stations, small supermarkets, and central barbecue areas can allow tourists who are tired of soaking in hot springs to get up and rest anytime, anywhere, and then replenish their physical strength and water. Plop. In addition to static hot springs that don't move, there are also water diving platforms and rotating slides. In those large pools with slightly lower temperatures, there are even water beds that allow people to drift on the water and enjoy a pleasant time. Young children were in groups of 3 or 5, playing and fighting in the children's bathing area under special supervision. It was very easy for them to get rid of the sense of strangeness. Besides, maybe their parents or older brothers and sisters were colleagues they knew. The youngest child in the whole place was probably a little girl who had not yet started kindergarten. Because of her cute and beautiful appearance, she was led away by several older boys as soon as she entered the bathing area. Whether it was adults or children, it seemed that face control was a preference ingrained in their genes, which could be regarded as a kind of circumstantial evidence. Phew, it's really comfortable to soak in this hot spring. It's all thanks to Wenzi. Otherwise, how can we old guys have the opportunity to come here and enjoy it? Luo Wen's family and the elders in the village basically don't have such consumption concepts, or their family conditions don't allow it. Anyway, there are special cars to pick them up and drop them off, and they provide food and accommodation. Even the swimsuits and swimming trunks for going into the water have spare items prepared by Luo Wen in advance. They are also very moved and keep saying good things about Luo Wen. They even say some flattering words next to Luo Wen's parents. Hot springs are more beneficial to the body for the elderly, especially for the villagers of Luogia village who have worked hard for most of their lives. This time, they were invited by Luo Wen's parents to enjoy it together. They were really in a good mood. It must be that they were full of pride that there was a good guy like Luo Wen in the village. Wearing colorful swimsuits, they are both relieved and curious about everything in front of them. They are not so active. First, they are over that age, and second, their body functions are aging, and they are a little powerless. If it weren't for the big formation arranged by Luo Wen in the village, maybe everyone would have a rosy complexion now, and they can move freely to go out and play. Oh, isn't it polite to say that? They are all Wen's elders. They are here to give face to our family. Soak for a while. I heard that we can go to the hotel restaurant for dinner. It's all buffet, free. Don't be polite, everyone. Eat as much as you want. Luo Wen's parents were happy and smiling. They didn't stop for a moment since they set out. Anyway, they didn't feel tired, and they felt that such a special event like today was worthwhile. Dad, Mom, Aunt, Auntie, Uncle, you are here. How is it? Is it okay? The elders were soaking in the big hot spring, chatting happily, and Luo Wen had changed into big swimming trunks, revealing a body of tough muscles that made people drool. Under a piece of shiny skin, there was a streamlined figure full of explosive power. Luo Wen usually likes long clothes and long pants, and doesn't care so much about clothes and personality. Suddenly, his perfect figure beyond ordinary people was exposed. With the blessing of the boss label on his head, those young employees, both men and women, stared at him, and some were speechless. Hey, Wenzi, you're finally here. Are you alright? Are you done with your work? Wenzi, we are all in your good graces today. We have to thank you. Amid the cordial and enthusiastic greetings, Luo Wen went into the water and started chatting with everyone. Qiu Yap, Yihan, and Zhang Qian, who were following him not far behind, had to move their steps and walk towards a smaller wine-red pool. With so many relatives of Luo Wen present, they were not brave enough to do this. Their bodies and hair were all wet, because before coming in, everyone had washed themselves and had to walk through the disinfection pool. Luo Wen didn't enter the bathhouse until around 10 AM. Those men and women in swimsuits showing off their beautiful bodies were eclipsed in front of their boss and seemed a little ashamed. The whole hot spring area, that is, in this valley, is always filled with laughter and joy. Going out to play is a happy thing, especially for free, and all expenses are paid by the boss. Besides, we just had a holiday, and each of us received a large year-end bonus and salary. If we are not open-minded and have fun, then we probably have psychological problems and need to go to the hospital for a checkup. Ding, lunchtime. From 11 AM to 3 PM, all hotel restaurants have vacancies. Please follow the dining order and don't waste it. The wrist vibrated slightly and the crisp voice of the mobile phone sounded. Every employee of Spark Technology received such a dining notification, but some were voice prompts and some had the do not disturb function turned on, which was just a vibration reminder. You need to click on the preview before it will be displayed on the holographic micro screen. Yeah, come here quickly. I'll take you to meet your uncle's family. It's time for dinner now. Let's come over to play later, okay? Oh, here we come. The little girl, steaming all over, was splashing in the water less than 1 meter deep with a group of other children. Around the children's bathing area, there were several hotel staff members with serious expressions, paying attention to the movements inside all the time. The adults who came here occasionally, as well as the adults passing by, kept paying attention here. They were all family members of Spark Technology employees. Even if they had not known these children before, since they were here, they were all their own people. Of course, they would pay more attention to them than unfamiliar tourists. Zaheo, come up quickly, we are going to eat. Zizin, come to your mom and uncle. Yeah, we'll come and play in the afternoon, it's agreed. Okay, I got it, don't worry. Yaya waved goodbye to her friends with a serious face, and those parents who were holding their children all showed puzzled and curious eyes. Hey, brother, isn't this the boss of your company? Why did you tell me before that he was single? Now he already has a child? No, how do I know if this is his daughter? Maybe she is his relatives. Besides, although Mr. Luo is handsome and this little girl is like a porcelain doll, don't you think the two of them don't look alike at all? Sister, you are the biological mother of 2 children. Do you still want to launch an offensive against our boss? Amid the discussions, Luo Wen wiped the water off Yaya's body with the towel in his hand, and then draped the specially prepared small towel over her. The seriousness and concern on his face really made it hard not to misunderstand whether there was a special blood relationship between the little girl and him. Uncle, will my mother go with me later? What should I call them? Yaya tilted her head and cooperated with Luo Wen's actions while thinking about things. Her expression was like that of an adult, so cute and serious. Hey, Wen, why did you come here first? I said I was going to come to find her. I don't know when Kyang, Qiu Yap, and several girls have walked behind Luo Wen. It may be that the hot spring water activates the blood vessels and the rise in body temperature makes them simply wear bath towels instead of wrapping themselves tightly. The large areas of whiteness and plump curves make the young men passing by swallow their saliva, clamp their legs and flee. But Luo Wen, there is no flush of blood flowing faster, and his eyes are clear, without any fatigue or confusion. He came to the hot springs, and it was hard to tell whether the hot springs nourished him, or he nourished the hot springs. Besides, something had almost gone wrong before. At this time, he was alert, but Luo Wen restrained his mind and did not have a trace of abnormal desire. That is, when all men are excited and have some physical instincts, Luo Wen's exceptionally calm performance seems different from ordinary people, which is very strange. Oh, I'm close. By the way, I'll take Yaya to meet my parents later. After all, I'm her uncle. I haven't taken her to meet my parents yet. Then should I go with you? Here, should I go back to the room and change clothes to look more formal? When Kyang panicked, but Qiu Yap, who was originally wary of her, breathed a sigh of relief at this time. So this is the relationship between them. I was scared to death. Chapter 373 Difficult Choice. Hello, Grandma. Hello, Grandpa. The baby-voiced Yaya was calling Luo Wen's parents with a sweet expression on her face. Behind her, Luo Wen and Wen Kyang stood side by side, looking so handsome and beautiful, complimenting each other. This, snap, the sudden call of Grandpa and Grandma, and a cute little girl with a delicate face. Luo Deke and Ren Gixiang's chopsticks fell on the table. Luo Wu and Zhang Yu, who were sitting at the same table, also looked incredible. They opened their mouths wide, saying that they didn't understand what their elder brother Luo Wen was doing. No way. Luo Wen is not indifferent to girls, nor does he not want to have a friend. He has already secretly made a lifelong commitment with someone outside, and even has a child. What's wrong, Gixiang? Wenzi, what's wrong with you? The aunt sitting at the nearby square table was the first to notice the abnormal situation here. She put down the food in her hand, and walked over with a concerned look on her face. Uncle, aunt. Hello, my name is Wen Kyang. I'm Awen's sister. This is my daughter. Her name is Lisa Wen, nicknamed Yaya. Oh. A false alarm. Although the little girl is very cute, this Wen Kaiang is also pretty, looks very young, and seems to be very well educated. Luo Deke and Ren Gixiang, they think such a granddaughter and daughter-in-law are acceptable, although it is a bit sudden. But before they can speak, or put down the shocked expression on their faces, the person who comes to explain, it turns out that it was just their wishful thinking and misunderstanding. Oh, big sister, it's okay, you go over to eat first. This is Wenzi's sister. He brought her here for us to meet and get to know each other. Ah, is that so? Haha, hello, auntie. When Kaiang blushed, she was still standing uneasy. Even if she changed her clothes, she still felt that it was too casual and seemed a bit rash. Dad, Mom, what are you doing? You just called Grandpa and Grandma. Do you think I really gave birth to a child for you? Haha, Luo Wu laughed, while Zhang Yu tried to hold back. She wanted to laugh but didn't dare. When Kaiang, who was shy, blushed even more. Laugh, you're still laughing. Are you itching? Luo's mother reacted and looked at him. Luo Wu's laughter stopped abruptly. He was not her elder brother. He was used to being alone. Luo Wu was very afraid of his parents' prestige. Perhaps this was because he was not independent and mature enough in his life and character since he was a child. That's why he behaved like this. Grandma, Grandpa, you don't like Yaya. Why are you angry? Yaya, who looked puzzled, seemed to be a little confused. Why did she call people and scare the two kind-looking old people to drop their chopsticks? Was it because she said something wrong, or did they not like me? Oh, such a lovely little beauty, how could we not like her? Her name is Luo Wen. Yeah, right. Come on, come and sit with Grandma. Of course, Grandpa and I like you. Poor Yaya, that made Luo Wen's parents panic. They felt that they had committed a heinous crime. How could they make the little girl cry accidentally? They picked her up from the ground and put her on the chair next to them. They kept taking snacks and drinks from the table. As for who it belongs to, except Zhang Yu, no one is more important than this porcelain doll now. Hello, uncle. Hello, auntie. Oh, Yeezy and Kaiyan are here too. And Zio Yap, why didn't I see you this morning? It must be Wednesday again. Didn't he tell you that I was here? Unlike Wen Kaiyan, who showed up for the first time, Qiu Yap, Yihan and Zhang Kaiyan had all been to Luo Wen's house. Ren Gixiang had been thinking about it at that time, thinking that between the three of them and Luo Wen, who was more likely. Although she was secretly worried about her son, there was no response from Luo Wen. Seeing him here again, she was in a very good mood, and the smile on her face became more and more friendly. In the past, when Luo Wen was working in Langyang district, Ren Gixiang was very worried about her eldest son. He had never had a boyfriend, and he was not the kind of person who could get along well with others. He was neither hot nor cold, neither hurried nor slow. She was really afraid that he would get older and older and would not even be able to find a wife in the future. Later, after not seeing him for more than half a year, Luo Wen's image and temperament became better and better. He was rich and won the lottery. Ren Gixiang still felt that she should take advantage of this opportunity to find a wife, start a family, and have children as soon as possible so that people would feel at ease. As a result, Luo Wen was very resistant to such topics. He seemed to have not made such plans yet. After talking several times, Luo Wen not only did not listen, but even Qiu Ya and others who had been in contact with him seemed to have lost contact. Now, not only has he secretly opened a technology company, but it is said to be more powerful than the Fortune 500. He organized this hot spring vacation, and all he saw were young and beautiful single girls. Ren Gixiang and Aunt Luo Wen have unknowingly added the contact information of many parents, saying that their sons are also employees of Spark Technology. As parents, they should give single children a positive guidance. There are so many choices that everyone has their eyes. Ren Gixiang and Aunt Luo Wen are already overwhelmed and have difficulty making choices. As for the so-called one-day tour, they also feel that the time is not enough. They plan to stay here for 2 nights and must choose the one they are most satisfied with. However, this suddenly appeared a single god sister with a daughter. In fact, after listening to Wen Qiang's story, Ren Xiang could only feel a little sorry that this woman was older than Luo Wen. Otherwise, with her appearance and quality, and the fact that she gave birth to such a lovely Yaya, she is indeed a very good candidate for a daughter-in-law. Then, seeing Qiu Yap, who she hadn't seen for a long time, as well as Yihan and Zhang Qian, who were affectionately called aunt by them, Ren Xiang was almost numb. Those ideas of collecting information about single young women were directly thrown behind her head. Since there are ready-made ones, why bother to trouble yourself? The key is that these girls were met before Luo Wen opened the company, and they knew each other more or less. Later, when looking for a suitable object, Luo's mother also had an extra layer of concerns in her heart. Hey, mom, you are wrongly accusing me. They came here almost at the same time as me, but you and your aunt ran away, so they didn't find you. Besides, didn't they come to say hello to you while eating? Haha, Luo Wen's explanation just avoided the embarrassment of the girls. Of course, they were too embarrassed to speak up, saying that there were too many people at that time, and they didn't dare to show up. Haha, auntie, don't blame Luo Wen. After dinner, let's go to the spa in the hotel together, and do a spa. I heard that it has a good effect on women's skin care. This spa is a self-funded project, and the price is not low. Obviously, Qiu Yan is going to take the initiative. Easy, Zixi, Sister Qiang, you can go with me, let my mother pay. She is worried about having money, but nowhere to spend it, and feels that there is not enough excitement around her. Hate it. A good opportunity was ruined by Luo Wen. Qiu Yan gave him a sanitary eye, and Wen Qiang and the two little beauties nodded and agreed. As for how to choose between them, or how to respond to the parents of the girls who made the connections, that was Ren Xiang's own concern. It also saved her from always looking at Luo Wen with an hesitant look on her face. Chapter 374 Return with Satisfaction. Casual mahjong, poker, billiards, karaoke room, spa, cinema, gym, esports hall. The whole resort has enough entertainment facilities. Anyway, if you are tired of taking a hot spring bath, you can always go back to the hotel and find other projects for a new experience. Not only that, everyone is a colleague in the same company, and you can form a bureau casually without worrying about whether the other party's character or personality is reliable. In addition to the projects with additional costs that need to be paid by yourself, such as spas, gift shops, shopping supermarkets, these need to be paid by yourself, but most of the other projects are included in the 10 million daily package fee. All good things must come to an end, and the time for folk art to end has come. After 3 days of fun, some people still checked in from the first night. In addition to eating, drinking and having fun, it is also considered to have contributed a lot of consumption to the resort in other aspects. With money in hand and a bright future, it is also generous to spend and enjoy the service experience brought by consumption. To be honest, unless it's just 1 or 2 days, it's really hard to have a full house here. It's not like booking tickets online, and the hotel just hangs a sign saying it's fully booked for 3 days. Asking other guests to book rooms after 3 days won't actually bring them any extra losses. Grandpa, Grandma, goodbye, yeah, we'll miss you. As the sun sets, some people go home early, while others plan to stay there for the night. For example, most of the villagers in Luojia village returned early in the evening of the same day. After all, they still have things to do during the Chinese New Year at home. Luo Wen's parents also asked Luo Wen's uncle to help take care of some things at home, and their family stayed. On the afternoon of the 6th, a bus drove to Luojia village first. The reluctance to part at the time was fully expressed by Luo Wen's parents and Zhao Ye. Luo Wen's parents are crazy about their daughters, and they all showed it to Ye. Those who know them don't actually have any blood relationship. Those who don't know them think they are a real family. Oh, Wen Qiang, you don't plan to go home for the new year. Why don't you bring Ye to celebrate the new year with us? I really can't bear to leave this lovely little girl. Wen Qiang couldn't help but hesitate. Because of her divorce from her ex-husband, her family was also criticized. In order not to make things difficult for her parents, she had to bear the longing and decided to stay in Haching. The 2 female employees in the store were given leave by the big boss Luo Wen, but as a small boss, she could still open the store and do business for a few more days. Otherwise, wouldn't it be Luo Wen who really supported them and her daughter? But, me. Sister Kyang, it's okay. You see, Ye gets along so well with my parents. You can spend the new year with her in our village. I'm not very relieved if you and Ye are alone at home. Mom, I want to live with grandpa and grandma. There are fun things here, and there are other children. I want to stay here. Is that okay? Poor Ye, who is also a little smart, immediately launched a pretending to be pitiful offensive against her mother. The key is that, unless you have a strong willpower, who can resist such a trick? Anyway, Luo Wen, the land immortal, can't stand it. Okay, but let's make it clear first. You can only live here until the new year. After the new year, you have to go back to our own home with me. Yeah, I can stay, Mom. Let's make a pinky promise. Pinky promise, never change for 100 years. When Kyang and Ye reached an agreement. This time, she hugged Luo Wen's mother's neck tightly and was reluctant to let go. Oh, I'm so envious. I also want to celebrate the new year in the village. The place where Zixi and I live is not lively at all during the new year, and it's so noisy that I can't sleep well. Seeing that Sister Wen Qiang, whom they just met, can stay at Luo Wen's house for the new year, Yihan and Zhang Qian, two poor people who can't decide their own personal freedom, are helpless. The key is that they know very well in their hearts that Yuning is unmarried and Luo Wen is single. It's okay to come and play for a day or two occasionally, but it is absolutely impossible to stay for a long time, unless she is an adult like Sister Wen Qiang, and can decide whether to stay or go without caring about those rules and regulations. As for Qiu Yap, who has never said a word, no, how can this be possible? If Wen Qiang stays, what if something happens between her and Luo Wen? Wouldn't it be too late to regret it? Qiu Ya's eyes were uncertain, and she was really confused. Although she knew that Luo Wen's parents were here, and there were all kinds of impossible obstacles between Wen Qiang and Luo Wen, she was still a little worried. But how could Qiu Ya say that she wanted to stay together for the new year? Click, goodbye, boss lady, goodbye, big boss. Luo Wen and his group got off the bus, and were discussing whether to stay or leave for the new year. The bus also closed the door automatically and began to prepare to send Fan Jiaying and Wang Yumeng back to Jiangling district. As for Qiu Yap, Yihan and Zhang Qian, they were driven back by Luo Wen and did not plan to go home alone on the bus. Well, bye. Luo Wen sat in the driver's seat and Wen Qiang sat in the co-pilot seat. Her face revealed a smile called peace of mind, and from time to time she looked at Luo Wen in the back seat, and there was also a kind of indescribable satisfaction. Luo Wen was driving them home, and then accompanied Wen Qiang to the apartment in Jiangling district to pack her clothes and Zhao Ye's things, and bring them to the village. The mother and daughter would stay for a while at least, and Luo Wen's house didn't have all the personal belongings. The two little girls sitting in the back seat, as well as Qiu Yap, were all preoccupied with their own thoughts. They looked a little uninterested and listless. It could be that they had been playing for several days in a row, which had exhausted their spirits and physical strength. Or it could be that the spring festival was approaching, and they couldn't stay at Luo Wen's house like Wen Qiang, so they couldn't cheer up. Qiu Yap, in particular, had made her mind clear. She would first work at Luo Wen's company, and then find a way to slowly break through Luo Wen's hard heart. No matter what, she had already recognized that Luo Wen was the other half of her life. Yihan and Zhang Qian, in addition to their admiration for Luo Wen, this all-around handsome guy, also felt that staying with him was particularly interesting. It made people feel at ease, and they didn't have to worry about anything or feel difficult. As long as Luo Wen was there, everything would be solved. In the small town at night, the white street lights lacked a warm feeling. The sparse vehicles were not as lively as a holiday villa before. Luo Wen had already parked his car on the side of the road by Qiu Ya's house. This time he didn't dare to park directly at the door. The lights on inside clearly indicated that her parents were at home. If he drove over like this, who knew what would happen? Click, bye. Wait, Luo Wen, can I come to your house to play these few days? I'm bored at home alone. Qiu Yap, who finally made up her mind suddenly turned around and called him, who was about to get in the car and leave at the same time Luo Wen sent her off. Of course, as long as you want to come, you can come anytime. Wow, this is also possible? Haha, it's settled then. With the rustling sound of cheerful footsteps, Qiuya turned and left. Yihan and Zhang Kan's eyes lit up, as if they had also realized something. Although they couldn't stay at Luo Zhe's house for the new year, they could still stay at his house for a few days. After all, wouldn't it be good to be at home on the New Year's Day? Well, let's do it this way. The two little beauties looked at each other, as if they had reached some kind of tacit understanding, and smiled happily. Chapter 375, Half Heaven and Half Hell. Luo Wen led Spark Technology to start celebrating the harvest in advance. Even now, he was still in a subtle atmosphere of joy. He took Wen Qiang home to get something with great interest. However, Spark Technology's big move before the new year was an unprovoked disaster for the entire Xia country, or for the global free market. Car salesmen like Qiuya, who were innocently sacrificed by industrial fluctuations, were just the tip of the iceberg. More industries and more practitioners were in dire straits at this time. It was only because the Spring Festival was approaching, and the Xia government's silent support for Spark Technology, that made the mixed Xia country. Everything gradually stopped, and nothing could be seen under the calm. There is no difference between developing countries and backward countries. They all have a hard life. No matter how much they are affected, they are still struggling on the poverty line. However, for developed countries, their economies are large, so they naturally have a great voice and influence in the international arena. Originally, it was a high welfare social structure, and ordinary people at the bottom of society could also obtain a rich material life through work. Suddenly, they could not buy the latest high-tech products with greenbacks. The world's most advanced Spark car was directly banned from sale to them. How could people accept this? How big was the gap in their hearts? The previous Spark system, carbon crystal battery, and carbon crystal semiconductor, although differentiated pricing, made foreigners feel the discomfort caused by rising prices. At least they could enjoy the great convenience and changes brought to life and work by technological progress. What happened next? Unexpectedly, Spark Technology is a company with a complete industrial chain and extremely strong bones. Not to mention self-production and self-sales. It directly issued an official statement, which means that not only will it not enter the international market in the future, but even its previous products will no longer be open to foreign markets. Such a result was not expected by anyone, and no one wanted to see it. Spark System is a customized system of the Internet of Everything, and a new programming language, provided by Spark Technology. Other companies have not been able to break through its firewall and imitate or copy it. Those foreign users who paid a large amount of usage fees received a refund directly, and then the system in their mobile phones and computers was automatically uninstalled and disappeared. This blow is fine. After all, they still have their own system to replace it. The key is that Spark Technology no longer contacts the foreign market for carbon crystal batteries and carbon crystal semiconductors, and cancels all orders and contracts. Only technology companies in Xiago and third-party middlemen can start to assemble, or package them by themselves, and sell them abroad. For these products sold abroad, the technical support services are no longer provided by Spark Technology, but by those third-party companies. The price is expensive, but the key is that when there is really technical incompatibility or technical indicators are wrong, it is difficult for third-party companies to solve the actual problem, and they can only return and exchange the goods. People from other countries outside Xiago were suffering, and they were willing to accept the differentiated pricing of Spark Technology. However, everything was irreversible. Spark Technology over there no longer responded. This meant that the announcement issued by Spark Technology was a permanent and effective fixed rule. They were not a two-faced company that was just playing around. Before they could come up with an effective solution to break the ice, Spark Technology's Spark personal terminals had already begun to flow into the hands of employees of foreign companies in Xiago in large quantities through their respective channels. The quantum field communication that changed the standards of the communications industry, various black technology modules and sensors, had already made those foreign people who could not use personal terminals feel deeply discriminated against. If their government had not made a fool of itself and made them miss such advanced technology, they would definitely experience the changes and various wonderful feelings brought about by high technology like the people of Xiago. When the Spark car was actually released, various actual test data and videos were spread to the world through the old network. A shocking storm officially kicked off. Hello everyone, this is the Xiago Evening News Channel. The latest report just sent back from abroad is that people from all over the world have started the first round of super large-scale strikes and marches. Governments have even lost control of the military, and the military has begun to join the parade. The following is a street scene that our reporter took the risk to secretly shoot. Beep bang, boom, step down, step down, step down. Oh, the cars parked on the roadside are honking their horns frantically, and some places are emitting thick smoke. It seems that there are 0 yuan purchase people who are trying to fish in troubled waters in the parade. And the people of all skin colors and strange clothes, in addition to holding various colored parade slogans in their hands, are shouting slogans in unison to ask the government to step down. The alarms of the vehicles on the roadside were also directly suppressed, as the TV camera switched, not only English, but also other developed countries, as well as some developing countries, all showed the same scene with little difference. It was as if the end of the world was coming, the government institutions collapsed, and the people were also caught in a crazy tide of resistance. TSK TSK TSK, Luo, do you think these foreigners are crazy? They set fire to shops and cars. It's almost New Year's Day and they are still parading on the streets. Don't they have anything to do? Ren Gixiang looked at the scenes on TV with a look of regret. It was obvious that she couldn't accept it for a while. Isn't it said that foreign countries are paradise and foreigners have such a good life? This place with everything in a mess, is it really the real scene of developed countries? Oh, mom, people in other countries don't celebrate the Spring Festival, they only celebrate Christmas. Besides, even if they celebrate the Spring Festival, it's just for shopping malls to promote sales, just like we celebrate Christmas in our Zaya country. Who knows what rules and etiquette their traditional festivals should have? Before Rhodes, who was sitting in the living room, could respond, Luo Wu, who was sitting and watching TV with them, had already answered with a look of watching the fun. Grandpa, Grandma, why are these foreigners shouting in the street and holding up a sign? Sitting on the long sofa facing the holographic TV, Yaya, who was originally a little sleepy, now became energetic. She was placed between the two of them by Luo Wen's parents, for fear that she would be cold. They found a small plush blanket from somewhere and covered her with it. Oh, they are all disobedient, so they are acting crazy because they have nothing to do. Our Yaya is the best. Don't learn these things in the future. Click, tap, tap. Hey, at this time, Luo Wen's family was half leaning against the living room watching TV, but outside, there was the sound of car doors opening and footsteps. Although the new house downstairs was ready for occupancy, Luo Wu and Zhang Yu only went there to experience it for one night, and then lived on the second floor of Luo Wen's house. According to them, there are many people here, and their eldest brother cooks for them. They like living here. In fact, it may be that they don't want to clean up such a big house, or they may not want to go up and down every day and walk a few more steps. Wow, it's mom and uncle. Dong dong, dong dong. Yaya ran down from the sofa barefoot and cheered, and then flew into Wen Kaiang's arms when she walked in. As for why she was barefoot, it might be because the child is very active, so her socks are a little wet. Brother, sister Wen Qiang, you are back. Well, Sister Kaiang, you and Yaya will live on the second floor. There is a room upstairs occupied by Wuzi and Zhang. You can choose which of the others you like and move in directly. Yaya, did you make any trouble at Grandma's house? Were you good and obedient? Oh, okay, we will go upstairs and choose a room later. Uncle, Aunt, I'm sorry to trouble you. Of course I'm good and obedient. I'm the most obedient child. Oh, you haven't put on your socks yet. Why did you run down directly? Quick, Luo, go and see if Yaya's socks are dry. You just watch TV and don't know how to move. Yaya has been sleepy since she came back. She just woke up. She is so good, right? Yeah, that's right. D. When you come here, treat this place as your own home. What trouble is there? Wen's father and I have always wanted to have a daughter. Now you and Ye are our family. If you don't mind your uncle and me, you can call us godfather and godmother in the future, right? Here, godmother, godfather. When Kyan, whose heart was surging, changed her words willingly under the encouragement of Luo Wen's eyes. At the same time, the inexplicable feelings in her heart were slowly fading and sinking. Looking at the family in front of her, she also slowly felt a sense of belonging among relatives. Okay, D. Oh, that's great. Come on. Yeah, Grandma will help you put on your socks. Don't get cold. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.